What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank y'all for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up to all of my friends and family? What up to everybody in the building? I appreciate y'all. It's hot outside. How y'all dealing with this heat wave across the U.S.? It's, it's hot outside. It's crazy. This is not the time to go and visit Vegas. All right? I made that mistake in my younger years. What up, Keyring? What up, Jesse Xavier, Keisha, Sabrina, Mimi? What up, y'all? Your car, I see you. Trey Day, what up, though? What up, what up, what up? This is not the time to go to Vegas. If you are looking to travel to Vegas or any of these, what's up, Bailey? What's happening? Roscoe, I see you. You said you stand inside, Key? Ah, that's hard. What up, Malk? Steel City, what up? Rosita of Tila. We is fine, boss. We got AC. They ain't got AC in Europe. How do you figure I'm tardy, Millions? I'm not tardy. The goal of the show is to start it during the 9 o'clock hour. Preferably in the early part of the 9 o'clock hour, but everybody knows that on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because we do live streams late at night, sometimes I want to get a little bit more sleep than I would usually wake up early in the morning because we stream late. And so we get it popping. We get it popping. What's happening, y'all? Man, they suffering in Italy too. You know, I've always thought that the summertime was not really the time to travel to places that are extremely hot. Like there's some tourist destinations that people travel to because of because of whatever. But in most instances, I don't believe that you're supposed to be traveling to certain places. Vegas, it can get to like 114 degrees. Let me pull this up. The average temperature in the United States is right now 97 degrees. That's crazy. That's crazy. The average temperature in the US is 97 degrees. And that's right now. And it actually is getting higher. Like, because, it's early in the day, so. It's pretty insane. It's pretty crazy. Let me look at the places that I frequent. You know how you keep the weather on your app real quick? Let me look at the places that I frequent really, really quickly. See, in Detroit, it's going to be 99 today. 99? That's crazy, bro. All right, let me see. Vegas is going to be, actually, it's only going to be 96 in Vegas. Miami, 88. Really? So Miami is going to be 88 is the high. And Detroit, it's going to be 99 is the high. Tampa, 91. Biloxi, 92. New York, 94. Atlanta, 94. Springfield, 95. Los Angeles. Is this right? In Los Angeles, it's only going to be 75 degrees? Wow. So the heat wave is really on the Midwest, kind of, sort of, on the East Coast and the Midwest. Because in Cali, high is 75, tomorrow 76, Friday 80. But in Detroit, 99, 96, 92, 88, 85. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know that it was popping like that. Well, it is definitely the summertime. And we need to figure out what we're going to talk about today. So, the Trump administration is saying that they want to somehow, through Congress, address birthright citizenship. Do what the Supreme Court did in birthright citizenship. We're going to talk about that. Patrick Bet David has some stuff to say about GTA 6 in light of what we was talking about last night on After Hours. So we're going to definitely talk about that. Chicago, landlords in Chicago. Told y'all, the smart people got out a long time ago. The smart people got out, let me revise that. The smart business owners got out in Chicago a long time ago. All right? Real talk. So Brandon Johnson yesterday announced some changes to renters and landlords, and in a way, in my opinion, they trying to follow in the footsteps of New York, right? So they want to be copiers of New York. Let's see what else we got on the docket. We didn't address Jersey City property taxes are going sky high. Carbuyers are disappearing. I told y'all that I would revisit the Ford rehiring engineers after the AI backfiring. Women having children in their 40s. We might go and revisit that. The Seattle City Council decided that they wanted to close the streets of some of the most violent streets in Seattle. So it's a lot of things that we can choose from. Lots of things that we can choose from. But before we get into the show today, let me ask y'all, how was your week so far? It is the first of the month, the beginning of the week, or the beginning of the month. It's the first of the month. And the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. So first and foremost, I don't know what happened to my Teach commercial. I would have to play the old Teach commercials. I want to play the new one. But Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Thank you, Teach Hanley, for continuing to hold us down and sponsor the platform. We appreciate you, Teach, for always holding us down for years. For years. Shout out to Teach Hanley. So shout out to y'all. I also want to say shout out to all of the bag chasers. Again, if you want to, I'm going to be updating the Patreon today with specific information with regard to the meetup. All right. I wanted to make sure that we cleared out and that everybody that was going to be at the meetup was the people that's supposed to be there. So you will get specific information as far as the times, the exact location, all of that that's going on in DC. So we got a meetup in DC. If you want that information, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to you, DJ Ace Productions. I like that. Week has been great. Workouts has been hitting, says K. Cooper. What up, ABJ? What up, ABJ? Jesse Xavier, I appreciate y'all. Again, the best day is the first day of the month. All right? Happy 67th birthday to Lonnie Clark. What up, though? Godson says you got to play the first of the month for the music break. Nope. Got something y'all ain't never heard before. I'm going to start putting y'all up on game when it comes to some of this music. You know what's so tripped out? This make it seem like my lats is bigger than it is, or are buffer than it is. But really it's just my white seat, my white chair. Some of y'all can't sit in white chairs because you don't be liking to take no shower, but that's a whole nother conversation. What else? Updates on the Patreon, live streams on the Patreon. Those is coming. I think the Millionaire Morning Show is doing really well, and we going to the next level. We had a great month last month, and I think that it was a great show last night. So for those of y'all, also, before we get into the show, that was tapped into After Hours last night, how did y'all like it? I thought we had a great time. It didn't even seem like it. Oh, lats is right here. You're right. Traps. Right. I'm sorry. It didn't seem like. It did not seem like it was only 3 hours. That it was only a little over 3 hours. It didn't seem like it. I thought that we had a great show. I think that adding Mimi to the show is a great addition to the show. And my intuition is always right. My intuition is all. Man, I'm the GOAT. I am the GOAT. I am the GOAT. Well, first, let me give credit to God, because God gives me all of the insight that I need to make the changes that I make. And that's just because you and your feelings are done about video games. So we're gonna revisit this video game conversation. We're gonna revisit this video game conversation. I just got it, man. Some people got it, some people get it, some people understand the game, some people understand content creation, producing, editing, marketing. Some people just got it. Some people got it. I thought it was a great show. Well, guess what? We back at it tonight. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. We back at it tonight after hours. All right. Let me read some of these. Well, actually, before I get into the super chats and the cash apps, I wanna get y'all opinion on something really quickly. All right. Oh, we had 1.1 billion views on the Anton Daniels channel alone. Don't let the haters trick you into thinking that the motion is anywhere other than right over here. What up, Wade Report? I'm gonna read that super chat shortly. All right. I want to get y'all opinion on something really quickly, though. Really quickly. Let me play this video.
71% of solo travelers are women. When I read that statistic, I thought about my time living in Barbados. I did a private tour and my guide told me that all the solo travelers he has are women, not men. I asked him why, and he said, I think men just don't enjoy their own company. And it made me think, women today are traveling solo more than ever, not just because we can afford it, but because we're more willing to take risks, we're more willing to explore, and we're perfectly happy being on our own and having experiences on our own. We are earning more, learning more, and claiming spaces that feel natural now, but may not have been as possible a generation or two ago. And as a travel curator, many of my clients are solo women travelers. I didn't plan for it to become a niche, but I'm really glad that travel trends have made it one. Helping women to see the world and create meaningful experiences for themselves has become a really rewarding part of my work. And travel alone isn't just about seeing new places, it's about learning about yourself, pushing your boundaries, shaping your own path. And I think that's why women are leading this trend.
I fundamentally disagree with what she's saying, right? She's saying that close to 3/4 of solo travelers, not travelers in general, but solo travelers are women. And it's because she said her guide, and wherever it was that she was, told her that he thinks is because men don't enjoy their own company. And it's the complete opposite. I believe that men enjoy their own company much more than women enjoy their own company. And one of the reasons why you see a lot of women jumping off the bridge and hitting the streets as far as traveling is concerned is because they're looking for something and they're dissatisfied with their own circumstances. And so in order to keep themselves entertained, a lot of times they have to continue to do things that they've never done before, because otherwise they will get content, otherwise they will get cantankerous, otherwise that spirit of unrest will continue to settle in them, and you'll see them start to lash out in other ways. And so there's a lot of factors that I believe go into this. The first factor is that most of the time when men travel, they travel with somebody because they always like to share experiences with other people, or they may be responsible for other people, or they have less of an opportunity to travel by themselves because there's always somebody that's attaching themselves to them, right? When we travel, a lot of times we have to plan for a family of 3 or 4, Or at the very least, if you're single, you got to plan for somebody else to come with you, because most of the time we like to share experiences with other people. When we're home, right, that goes kind of sort of into the whole video game conversation. And although I think that multiple things can be true at the same time, meaning that you can be unproductive, the fact that we are able to immerse ourselves by ourselves, and we can have whole man caves without inviting anybody over, but we could just watch sports, watch TV, chill, work, whatever, shows you that we actually enjoy our own company, and we don't even have to have a whole bunch of distractions around us to make us comfortable with our circumstance or our situation. And this is applicable across the board. It doesn't span any socioeconomic status. It don't matter if you're rich, poor. Guys love being by themselves, but then at the same time, they want companionship when it's convenient. I don't think that women traveling by themselves is anything other than, in a lot of instances, not all, it's actually a form of rebellion. I was looking at a video similar to this one where a girl was saying that, um, she was traveling over here and she's over 50, and it's a woman that was over 50, and she was saying that she likes traveling, but she don't like traveling with her girlfriends. It's a lot of factors. I'll give you another reason. Women that travel with other women, right, usually don't come back as friends. And even in order to even have this conversation, you got to talk about gender dynamics. And maybe I'll pose this as a question. I'll give this as a question for Mimi to ask tonight. Let me write it down real quick. As an icebreaker, right? I'll give you an example of gender dynamics and why this matters. When men travel with women, men usually pay for the majority of the trip, if not all of the trip. Women will not travel with men unless the man is paying for the majority of the trip. So if she can't find a sponsor or somebody to fund her coming with him and then being able to justify it, right? Because if a man takes a woman on a trip, it's, oh my God, okay, he doing what a man is supposed to do. You're not going to see a woman take a man on a trip and pay for the majority of the trip. If a woman is inviting a man, or if a woman is suggesting for a man to go on a trip, what she's basically saying is, I want to go, but I want you to pay for it. So if she wants to go somewhere, but she can't find a sponsor, usually she'll find a companion. In most instances, men, because of gender dynamics, is expected to pay for a woman to come with him, which negates the whole idea of being a solo traveler. Usually when men travel, we travel with purpose, with an objective, right? Maybe it's a business trip. Maybe it's to go and visit friends and family. I think that women that travel by themselves, to be honest with y'all, is crazy. It's crazy. Because one of the things that I was seeing in the comments is, oh my God, I got anxiety. I don't know if I want to go over there. What about the safety or whatever? Men don't have to worry about that like women have to worry about that. We don't think about, oh man, we gonna get kidnapped. That's a woman thing. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't travel, nor should they travel by themselves. What I'm saying is they're less likely to be safe in these places. And so you have to take a calculated risk, but women are risk takers. Women are risk takers. You got to be a risk taker. You got to be a risk taker to jump on a flight for a man that you've never met before in order to come and see him. If a dude can jump in your DMs and say, hey, listen, I'm going to send you a ticket, I'm going to send you a flight, come on out here. You know how much of a risk taker that you got to be in order to do that? You don't even know him. You've never met him. You've never really had a conversation with him before, but you're willing to take a flight and put your life in his hands and your well-being in his hands, and that comes with a risk. You got to be a risk taker to do that. And again, I'm not saying that women shouldn't travel. I just think that there's additional context as to why women travel, according to this statistic, and I don't know how accurate it is. I don't know where she got this information from. Why you see more solo women travelers on a regular basis. Kay Cooper says, I went to Cali by myself, felt safe the whole time. Strangers was cool as hell out there, men and women. Well, here's the caveat to that though, Kay Cooper, is that we inherently feel safer traveling within the states, right? When you start to push it out, and you start talking about traveling outside of the country and stuff like that, women that's doing that, that's wild to me. Million says also women are more frivolous because their future financial plan is a man. Men have no choice but to fall back on, so we're more conservative. That is 1,000% true. I 1,000% agree with that. The women are truly the definition of YOLO. Women just believe at some point in some way they are going to fall on their feet like a cat. They're going to fall. Listen, you know what? I'm going to take out this debt. The experience is worth more than what it's going to cost me to do it. I'll find a man at some point to take care of me. You know what? I'm going to hoe it out and I'm going to take a chance. And when I'm ready to settle down, it'll be a man that's waiting for me. Even if it's not necessarily, I know I'm dealing with these guys in the streets, but I'm looking for a good guy. I'm going to take the risk. And again, shout out to Slim Trini Guile. I don't think that women should not travel. I think that y'all should travel. I think that y'all should do it. I'm just saying that there's a different switch that y'all have in y'all head to where y'all don't have the same worries and the same concerns that we have. Y'all don't worry about student loan debt. Y'all don't worry about men. Y'all don't worry about bodies. Y'all don't worry about nothing. Y'all just inherently just believe. That's why y'all so heavy in church. Y'all inherently believe in something that's not even there for you or that you can't see at the time. You believe it's going to happen. I'm telling you, that's how women think, bro. That's how women think. They just believe. They just know. You know what? My teens was rough. My 20s was rough. My 30s was rough. But my 40s, I'm going to land on my feet. They don't have to do nothing. They don't have to try. They don't have to make no adjustments. I'm going to just get there. Yes, man. I'm telling you, women are... How? How do you disagree with me, CW? How do you disagree? I surround myself with SE women. How do I... Where did you draw that conclusion? Hey, fam, you got it. Hey, who hurt you? I'm going to start saying that too. Who hurt you? When y'all come in here early in the morning and y'all on crazy time, I'll be thinking to myself, it must have been a rough night. Who hurt you? I don't be understanding these guys a lot of times. So why they be on demon time early in the morning, I'll be like, who hurt you? But again, I do think that women inherently have this switch in their head to where they just like skip it. I'ma just figure it out. I'ma just wing it. I'ma just wing it. Real talk. I know women that get jobs at airline companies part-time so that they can use it to travel. They be on standby, waiting for a spot to open up. Don't care where they sit. They just be on standby. I've never, and it may be some, I've talked to a lot of people in my lifetime. I haven't met many men that go and get a part-time job at an airline for the possibility of traveling free. I have only ever heard women do that. Now, I have heard of men that work for airlines that travel for free, but not ones that go and get a job at an airline just to be able to travel for free. Women, for example, will get a budget. They put together travel budgets. They get in clubs and do travel trip clubs. They travel with each other. Women travel with other women that they don't even know in travel clubs to go and visit places. That's not a men thing. Godfather says, why are they always online begging? Because that's what women do. That's the nature of a woman, is to beg. What are you talking about? That's it don't even matter how much money they got. They still gonna beg. It doesn't matter how much money they have. They're going to beg. Women join the military a lot of times so that they can see the world. Men join the military because they're not sure what they're gonna do with their life. Women are gonna beg. It don't matter what her situation is. Don't matter what hey babe. Whenever y'all see that, I had a girl that hit me up today. I ain't heard from her in forever. I ain't heard from her in forever. Hey, are you okay? Haven't heard from you in a minute. That's what it says, literally. And I said, interesting. Hey, are you okay? Haven't heard from you in a minute. I'm not kidding you. All right, you don't believe me? All right, I'm going to show you a little bit of it. That's what it says. Hey, are you okay? Haven't heard from you in a minute. I said, interesting. I can call you later on the thing. I'm not even responding to that. They just pop up out the blue. Hey, I ain't heard from you. Why you ain't? I haven't heard from you in a long time. Where you been at? I'll be looking at my phone. Got to put, you know how old people do when they got to put their glasses on when they're not sure they seeing what they seeing. Yep, sure is. Ah, that's my favorite word. Interesting. And then I got another phrase, and it's they'd be like, oh man, I've just, everything has been crazy. And I'll be like, no worries. Oh, hey, what you been doing? I ain't seen you in a while. Women, they expect for things to just be how it was the last time that they talked to you. I don't go into no soliloquy. I don't want to hear all of that. I don't even care. I genuinely don't even care. I just be like, that's crazy or interesting. One word answers, boy. Somebody said you ain't block. I don't block people. That's children's games. People that block people. Now, if you block somebody because you need to get some work done and they just keep calling you all day and you block them for the day, that's one thing. But come on, man. I'm a grown man. I don't block people. If I don't want somebody to call me no more, I'm gonna just have a conversation and say, hey, listen, this don't make sense. All right. I don't block people. Why? That's what y'all do? Y'all block people? That's crazy. That's insane. Anyways, I think that will be an interesting icebreaker question for the night. We'll see what happens. I block spam callers. Listen, everybody is not living in the culture the same way that y'all are. All right? Just because women do it, don't mean that we have to do it. Just because women do it, don't mean that I have to participate in it. I don't care what other people do. Nope, I block, get lost. Man, listen, bro. All right, so check this out. And then I'm going to get into the show. Most people that you have a conversation with, especially as a man, if you tell somebody, hey, listen, I'm not really on that, I'm not on this type of time, I'm not interested, then people will go away, right? People are not tripping that much. They may tap in maybe a year or two from now, but if you tell somebody and you have a conversation and you cordial with it and you like, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to focus. I'm not on that. Then people will go away. Most of the time when a guy block a girl, most of the time when a guy block a girl, he just in his emotions at the time. They may have fell out. They may have gotten into it. Oh, I'm blocking her. Beep. Man, ain't nobody tripping off of you. You blocking it to make yourself feel good, thinking that she calling you, and she not even calling you no more. She done already moved on. She got a whole roster. Get your starting lineup together, bro. Go do some trades. Go do some free agent acquisitions. Get yourself prepared for the draft, and get you a new lineup. Get you a new starting five. Get you a. Okay, so what? She took another contract. She went and got another. She went and got another host. I ain't got a blocker. It ain't even that deep. What up, OG? It ain't even that deep. What you blocking a chick for? Because now you going to seem bitter. If you cool, calm, and collected, and you ain't tripping off of none of that, man, ain't nobody blocking nobody. I'm chilling. I think that's what women do. Women get emotional. Oh man, I'm blocking. They do that. They block, unblock, block, unblock. And again, unless it's a day, 1 day situation, man, go get you a new free agent. About to be sitting there taking my time out, going through, never talking to her again, man. I got this one wrong. What do I got it wrong? Why I got it wrong, your car? How do I got it wrong? If you have a conversation with somebody and you just kick it with them, that's why you don't separate yourself on bad terms. Every person that you move on from, if you can't, in my opinion, right? If you can't call a person after y'all allegedly went y'all separate ways, then that's a problem. That's a problem. Y'all said women is begging out here. Yes, that's what women do. They beg. That's normal. That's normal. It's normal for women to beg. I thought that was the standard. I thought that all women just by default begged. Let me read some of these cash apps and super chats, and we're going to get on to the next part of the show. I want to say shout out to Leola Bell. Appreciate you. Says she appreciate the content. Thank you. I appreciate you too. My dog, Mike that dude. What up, Mike that dude in the building? I appreciate you. Spencer Campbell. What up, Spence? I appreciate you, Spence. Says good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. For those of y'all that's getting in, the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. That link is pinned to the top of the chat as well as being in the description of the video. Trey Day says, what do you think about Chris Brown dog thing? About the Chris Brown dog thing. What's the Chris Brown dog thing? Chris Brown dog. Woo! That can't be a real thing. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Give me a second. I didn't know about this. All right. It's saying that Chris Brown is on a hook for $13 million over dog's attack of a housekeeper. Goes on to say in June, Brown testified that he witnessed a lot of blood following the incident, but ultimately left the scene. Chris Brown must pay a former housekeeper millions of dollars after she was injured in a dog attack on his property in 2020. As first reported by Billboard, a jury determined that Brown owes $12.9 million to the housekeeper in question, Maria Avila. Sounds like somebody that was a foreigner, and it might have also been an illegal migrant, but neither here nor there. We're profiling right now. In connection with the incident, additionally, the woman's sister, Patricia, has been awarded $885,000. She was also working on the day of the attack. Meanwhile, Maria Avila's husband is owed $50,000. Cited in the Billboard report is attorney Michael C. Murphy Jr., who represented Patricia Avila. Complex has reached out to Murphy's office for comment, as well as a rep for Brown. We have also contacted Nancy, an attorney for Maria Avila, for additional comment. The story may be updated. Maria said she was taking out the trash at Brown's Tarzana residence in December 2020 when she was attacked by a large guard dog in question, named Hades or Hades. She alleged the attack left her with injuries, including permanent disfigurement of her face, loss of vision, and then she sued him in 2021. Brown himself testified at the California civil trial last month. Brown testified at the California civil trial last month, saying that he witnessed a lot of blood, though he ultimately declined to personally call 911 due to fears of the call being leaked to the media. The two-time Grammy winner also faced questions about his decision to leave the property per a prior report from Rolling Stone, which he said was his manager's idea. Earlier this year, Brown sought to bar references to his 2009. Okay, all right. Let me see if there's anything else we need to mine out with this. Rolling Stone paying $13 million in damages. So the other girl, her sister, Patricia, was awarded $885,000 for emotional distress. Billboard was the first to report the news. This is the Billboard report. Oh, I guess I don't have Billboard. I'm not about to sign up for Billboard in order to get to it. After more than 5 years of litigation against Chris Brown, we are thrilled that we are able to get justice for our client, Patricia. We are also so happy for her and her family after everything they went through on that horrible day. It was an honor to represent her. She gave an emotional testimony at the 2-week trial, breaking down on the witness stand as she described the December 12, 2020 mauling at Brown's home in Tarzana neighborhood of Los Angeles. She said the attack left her with severe injuries to her arm, face, extensive scarring, and post-traumatic stress disorder. She said she will never be the same again. She told jurors in a courtroom in California, testifying in Spanish through an interpreter. That means that she don't even speak English. She might not even be an American citizen. Avila described a grueling recovery. She said surgeons harvested skin from her abs to graft onto her mangled arm, leaving her in extreme pain and unable to bend at the waist. The lacerations to her face required dozens of stitches. Pandemic restrictions barred her family from visiting during the 5 days in the hospital, forcing her to endure the ordeal alone. Oh, they really poured it on. A mother of three, Avila told jurors that nerve damage and chronic sensitivity on her left side still make it hard for her to sleep and carry out basic daily tasks. She no longer has the arm strength to scrub floors or wring out a mop, she says. Meanwhile, the attack also left her afraid of all dogs. That fear, combined with her physical limitations, has effectively ended her career as a housekeeper. Right. Since most of her former clients own dogs. Avila's daughter, Yoselin Espinoza, testified after her mother, recalling the panicked call she received from her aunt Patricia, who had also been working at the house that day, filed her own claims against Brown. She was just freaking out, telling me your mom can't breathe. She keeps passing out on me. The ambulance is still not here. Chris Brown fled the scene and did not think she was going to make it. And I did not think she was going to make it. Brown, 37, testified as the first witness at the trial. He told jurors he heard the dog, Hades, growling outside and rushed downstairs to find Avila face down and motionless on the ground. He told jurors he locked up the dog, called out to his security guard to summon help, and bent down to make sure Avila was breathing. He acknowledged that he didn't personally call 911, saying that he feared the recording would be leaked to the media. He also said he never touched Avila, offered her water, brought her a towel, and gave her any comfort beyond telling her help was on the way. Describing Avila's injuries for the jury, the singer pointed to his forehead and traced his finger down to his nose and under his eye. It was cut and severed. I know it's graphic, but you can see the skin was kind of raised. You can see the cut and the blood coming out. It was a lot of blood. Brown said he left his property before the paramedics arrived because he's a celebrity. He said his manager allegedly suggested it. He also confirmed he never asked the security to preserve his home surveillance video from the incident. Oh, we know how that went. What would have been the problem with you being there and waiting for the paramedics to get there with the woman bleeding in your driveway? Why would that be a problem for you as a celebrity? Avila's lawyer, Nancy, asked incredulous. Because of how my image is and always used, I didn't want a misleading story or like a circus from my status. It's pretty sticky when it comes to that, so me staying out of the way was advised. Did you think your reputation would take a bigger hit if you fled the scene? Brown said he did not flee. He said he spent a couple of hours driving around and stopped at a gas station before he was advised it was safe to go back home. Avila testified that she didn't know the large Caucasian shepherd, also known as a Central Asian ovcharka, was on the property today. She told jurors she only saw Brown's two other dogs, small French bulldogs, and she denied Brown's claim that he warned her not to go outside without an escort because there was a third dog on the property that was not friendly. Speaking softly, Avila said that she had gone outside to an empty vacuum bag when an attack occurred. To empty a vacuum bag when an attack occurred, that she only recalled flashes of the mauling and its aftermath. She told jurors she had to leave the courtroom during opening statements when graphic photos of her injuries were displayed and that she still hasn't been able to look at them. It's very hard for me. I can't. With her hands visibly shaking, she rolled up her left sleeve and walked to the jury box, turning her gaze to the wall as jurors examined and raised the pitted skin covering much of her forearm. She then removed her glasses and swept back her bangs to reveal a pattern of scars running from beneath her left eye up across her forehead. Before the trial, Brown admitted negligence under California's dog bite statute in the court filing and continued to dispute the extent of Avila's injuries and claimed she was partly at fault for going outside alone. Now, I don't believe that Chris Brown is holding her accountable and saying, oh man, she partly at fault. That's what I just truly believe. I believe that Chris Brown is probably leaning into that so that he doesn't have to pay, or so that he didn't have to pay, as much money as he wound up paying by saying that, hey, I warned her, right? It may even be not true. It may be very true that he warned her. He's obviously admitted guilt because it said before trial he admitted negligence. He admitted negligence, all right? Caucasian shepherds look just like lions. So I want y'all to understand that sometimes when a person is saying, for example, a lot of people were saying, and I hate to use this as an example, but I'm gonna bring it up because it's the most recent thing that I can think of. When people say something like Carmelo Anthony didn't show any guilt, or he didn't admit guilt, or he didn't show any remorse, well, if you have an ongoing appeals process, or you have litigation, or maybe Chris Brown will even go into appealing the verdict, thinking that it should be reduced, then you can't automatically admit guilt. You can't show remorse because that works against you in court. All right. He continued to dispute the extent of the injuries, claimed that she was partly at fault for going outside alone. Brown's attorney acknowledged during the jury selection that Avila was entitled to some damages, so he already knew he was going to have to pay, but said there was a difference of opinion over the amount. So he already knew that he was going to have to pay. All right. He was already aware that, all right, I got to take this L. I'm responsible. It's my dog. It happened on my property, and I'm going to have to pay some money. I'm pretty sure he didn't expect to have to pay $12.9 million. And I'm also sure that he's probably going to appeal it. Y'all want to know why Chris Brown and Usher is on tour so heavy right now? Got to come up with that 13 M's, baby. Plus. Usually what happens in these situations is you wind up having to pay lawyer fees. So imagine having to pay lawyer fees from all 5 years of litigation and all of this stuff. So the lawyers is banking, right? They banking. And the lawyers is like, cool. You know what I'm saying? We going to take your case, but we're going to get a percentage of the winnings. And a lot of times, when you talk about an accident, whether it's a trucking accident, a dog bite accident, all of that stuff, they are willing to take your case because they can win it 10 times out of 10, especially if you have good insurance, right? So they'll bank, and they may take 30, 40%, maybe even 50% plus whatever the lawyer fees. And so the lawyers are going to come up. The lawyers is coming up. They was probably salivating at the idea of going to court on Chris Brown. And so apparently they tried to negotiate a settlement. Who can say? So here's the question that we should be asking ourselves in this conversation. What is a reasonable amount for Chris Brown to have to pay in a dog, not even a dog bite, a dog mauling accident? What is a reasonable amount? Dog mauls you on a property. They know that you're a celebrity. They know that whatever. You know what I'm saying? What is a justified amount for this housekeeper to get? Do y'all think that $13 million is justified? Do you think that the $885,000 that he have to pay the other housekeeper for emotional distress is justified? Some people say somebody said 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 13 million, 12 million, 5 million, $1, 8 million, 2 million, 40 million. All medical bills plus 10,000. B. Johnson, listen, I know you must be one of the cheap people that take women on dates to McDonald's. 6 million, 5 million, 12 point. So you think that the 12.9 million is justified. 1 million, 3 million, 13 million says TM Speaks, 5 milli says Quasar, 1 to 2 million, that's it. 10 million. Keyring says the ruling was fair, 13.5, 3 to 5 million, 1 million, 40 million. Okay, Latros, you just trolling right now. 2 M's, 10,000 plus medical. Why do you keep saying 10,000 plus medical bills? 2 million plus medical bills. I think that somewhere in the middle of that, if you're a regular everyday person, then you're not going to get that money anyway. But because it's Chris Brown and you're rich and you work in the rich people neighborhoods, I think that the number goes up significantly. If I'm him, I'm probably offering somewhere in the realm of about 6 M's. And that's just because I know that if it goes to trial, if it goes to jury, if they show that dog foaming at the mouth, if you have to show how you had to get skin grabs from your stomach, then it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But that's why he probably on tour. Got to dance his butt off. See him running. I'ma see him running. And the man, and the home, and the fence, and let me know. And seen up and run it, and seen up and run it. Gotta hit that tour. That's why they adding dates. Added 3 additional dates to the Detroit show. Gotta get that money, baby, because we gotta pay the housekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Several prospective jurors were dismissed early in the selection process. After saying they I love this show. After saying they could not be impartial because of Brown's 2009 felony assault conviction involving his then girlfriend, Rihanna. See, that whole Rihanna thing, bro, walk away. What Chris Brown, and shout out to Chris Brown, I actually like Chris Brown's music. What Chris Brown situation is showing you is that it's never worth it to get into a confrontation with a woman. You're gonna lose money long term and opportunities. Or maybe a jury is gonna trump it up a little bit more because of how it is that your reputation was from when you whatever, especially if you got some motion. If you see a woman and even if she want to tear up your stuff, even if she want to throw a brick through your car, just sit there and be like, that's crazy. Getting it repaired is not going to be worth whatever the cost is that come along with her. Look at what Big Tigger is going through right now. Nobody was even checking for Tigger. Nobody was checking for Big Tigger. Who was checking for Big Tigger? Nobody. Nobody was saying, hey, man, I wonder what Tigger think about this situation. I wonder what Tigger think about Jay-Z's Roots Picnic concert. I wonder what does Big Tigger think? Nobody was tripping off of Big Tigger. But as soon as a woman came on and she was like, oh my God, he hit me. Don't matter if it's true. Nobody cares about the surveillance footage. Nobody is going to go and do their research. Nobody is going to go and figure it out. But guess what? Now all of a sudden, they're going through and they're dissecting his words. Big Tigger made a statement and said, all of the claims are categorically false. I'm looking in the comments and the women is saying, why he didn't just say he didn't hit her? But guess what? There's only 3 things, in my opinion, in this world where people will always try to take your earnings, never give you an opportunity to be great again. The first one is always going to be the kids. First one is the kids. If you touching on kids, it's over for you. You gotta be incredibly talented and better than ever before in order to be able to survive a redemption arc with kids. You gotta be R. Kelly. Because women are still gonna love R. Kelly no matter what, right? Right after he got done peeing on the chick, it was like, oh, do you want your passport? That was right there back with R. Kelly. That's the first one, all right? Putting your hands or doing something to a dog. or an animal, an innocent animal, mistakenly leaving your live stream on and putting your paws on the dog. And if that dog go, you're done. Your streaming career over. You can come back from a lot of things, right? You can do anything you want. You can steal, kill, destroy. You can go and take somebody's life. You can become a YN, go and do your time in prison, come out, and they're gonna be having a celebration. I went deaf on a chick. All I want did deaf on a chick. You put your hands on a dog. You put your hands on a puppy. Children, if they catch you on to catch a predator, and you sitting there and you got some gifts for her. Hey, little girl, I brought you a new chess set. But you got her a new doll. Oh man, look, baby, I got you a new doll, a new kit, and it's the latest doll. And she's 11, 12 years old, 13, 14 years old, and you got some condoms in your pocket and some liquor, and Chris Hansen pop up on you. That's it. Streamer career over. Content creator done. Don't put your hands on animals. Don't touch little kids. All right. And this one is an honorable mention. You could recover from it, right? But it's looked down upon. If your chick pop out with looking like the chick from A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and she hit herself, put her arm in the door, shut it, and then go to the hospital and say, "Oh, look what he did to me." They never gonna forgive you. Only reason he ain't did the Super Bowl is because former situation with Rihanna. Look at sister acting out. Acting out. I'm gonna read that super chat really, really shortly, sister. Acting out. The judge previously ruled that history was not relevant to the case, but the prospective jurors brought it up on their own. Chris Brown could quite possibly be in the conversation about the greatest of all time if that one night, that one situation didn't occur in his life. That was the beginning of Bad Boy Chris Brown. That was it. That's it. Let me acknowledge my girlfriend. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me acknowledge my girlfriend. Y'all not used to sister. This ain't the first time that sister done did this. Sister done did this multiple different times, right? Sister, let me read it before I say the amount first. First of all, shout out to my girlfriend, sister. I've always loved you. I've always rocked with you, and you've always poured into what we got going on. So it's good day, Mr. AD. And the Millionaire Morning Show, PSA. Today is the first of the month. Now, remember, the people that are inside of the Patreon, they don't mind being this generous because of the value that they get from it, the money that I make them inside of the Bag Chasers, all right? She says, it's the first of the month and the best time to join the Patreon. You will be greatly enriched physically, mentally, and spiritually, Mr. AD. I appreciate you and your encouragement to be the best self every day and creating a group of people who do too. May God continue to bless you and your family richly in Jesus' name. And then had the nerve to pray over me. In Jesus' name, amen. Sister hit us off with the 5 ball, the 500 ball. First of all, I love you. I appreciate you. And there's no words that I can use to justify or to describe the love that I have for the people that truly support the platform, especially considering that you don't have to do it. I've always said, and I say it on a regular basis, that I do not ask for, nor do I request for anybody to send me anything. So I'm always going to acknowledge everybody that always support the platform. And I've never gotten used to keeping it 100 with you, sister. I've never gotten used to the love and the support that I get from the people, especially from you in this type of situation. So I just want to let you know. And people don't understand the love that we got in the Bag Chasers. They don't understand the Discord. They don't understand that the best time to join the Patreon and that we a family. It's the reason why we growing so rapidly, that we love each other immensely, and that I cannot in any way, shape, or form tell you how much I appreciate you, because you are taking out your time and your resources to pour back into what I'm doing, and it can't be understated. It can be understated. I love you too, K. Cooper. I love all of y'all. Shout out to the Bag Chaser. Shout out to Bridget. Bridget, you always supporting me also. Shout out to you, sister. I love you. I appreciate you. And it's always encouraging to have people that truly love what you do and appreciate what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten better at accepting gifts, Sabrina. Well, because y'all gonna hold me accountable if I decide that I didn't want to accept it. Shout out to my girlfriend's sister. Thank you, love. Shout out to Trade Day for presenting that. Sometimes I go off script. Self-made forever with the 10 ball. And understand, y'all. Listen, I don't want y'all to feel like, if y'all do want to get y'all super chats read and stuff like that, I don't want y'all to feel like y'all have to send 500 or 100 or nothing. I don't care if it's $1. I'm going to read and acknowledge, and I always have, read and acknowledge every single person that poured into the platform, because I appreciate y'all. All right. Dope show last night. Can you consider addressing Sony announces the end of physical discs by the end of 2028? Rest in peace to GameStop and the physical places. Yeah, I'll hold on to that. I'm going to talk about that. Trey Day says, and congratulations on the $1 billion. By the way, thank you, Trey. Wade, what up, Wade? Says, finally getting a chance to catch you live again. I'm on vacation. I've been catching the replays and the clips. Keep crushing. Thank you, Wade. I appreciate you, Wade. Shout out to you. My girlfriend, Just a Brown Girl in America, who I'm expecting to see in D.C. Good morning, Anton, and good morning, chat. Shout out to my girl, Just a Brown Girl in America. Jason Jocelyn says, did you like the movie Colors that came out in 1988 that showed you L.A. was trash? Back then, you were going to vote for that brother for governor Michigan. I'm indifferent about the movie Colors. Very indifferent. Just Christian Black always sending that super chat for $10. Thank you, Christian Black. I appreciate you. Terrible People Podcast in the building says 80, the Book of Secrets from the Boxelitis Chronicles tells us that the spirit of the she-heathen what? The she-heathen is never broken because of the power of the box. Oh, I'm about to save that. Maybe that is what I'll name my Friday shows. The Boxelitis Chronicles. I don't know, because we spend it more than Boxelitis. Chris Cunningham, my dog. What up, Chris? Chris, I see you changed the picture. Hey, cold farm in the bind, Nate. Q, the executive suite, Emily says, these ladies are in a bind, Nate. Q. Maddie Plays PC says, California legal system is a joke. $14 million payout is crazy. Bro, she got mauled. She could have died by a dog. I'm not sure that $14 million makes sense, but you should have came to a settlement. When you leave it up to the courts. A cute executive suite MLE says, and shout out to you for the 20 ball, bro. Chains is cool to cop, but more important is lawyer fees. That's Jay. As an insurance guy, I know that no matter the final outcome, he has an insurance policy that can cover some or all of the liability in this matter, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know if they cover you in this instance. So I'll have to go and deep dive into it. Johnny Mack in the building says, good morning, AD. Great show lady last night. Thank you, Johnny Mack. We doing it again tonight. It's going to be even better. Savrick says, the guilt and compassion mind virus acts as a bypass mechanism over someone's self-preservation and self-survival. Self-guilty whites are insufferable. I know what you meant, Johnny Mac. Shout out to you last night. 392Q says, can we get a Dr. Umar Johnson voice? You know what? Honestly, 392Q, I almost believe that Umar Johnson has become completely irrelevant. I don't think that Umar Johnson got the same motion that he used to have. I don't even cover him anymore. As crazy as that sounds, I don't even cover Umar Johnson anymore because I'm not even sure that it's relevant. I think that he's hilarious. I love when he says stuff like Neanderthal behavior and stuff like that. But I do. You know what we need to do? You know what we need to do? You know what we need to do? We need to do an end of the year honorable mention. Who got motion, who's relevant, and who's fell off. Who relevant, who got motion, and who's fell off. That's what we need to do. Something like that. I don't think he's just not as relevant as he used to be. It's a lot of people that's not as relevant as they used to be. I bet you would take that interview money now. So I don't even check for him, to be honest with you. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. My brothers and sisters. Neanderthal behavior. Neanderthal behavior. All right, y'all, let's revisit this whole conversation about birthright citizenship and what's now to happen as far as what the Trump administration is trying to do through Congress. Again, hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and let's get to it.
Meet the Press now. I'm Ryan Nobles in Washington on the final day of a historic Supreme Court term, with the court issuing decisions today on everything from birthright citizenship to transgender rights to the role money can play in politics. And the most highly anticipated decision of the term, the court rejecting President Trump's controversial effort to end birthright citizenship, ruling that the executive order the president signed on his first day of his second term is unlawful. The decision was 6-3, with 5 justices ruling that the order violated the 14th Amendment. Chief Justice John Roberts, writing in the majority opinion, quote, citizenship then and now was the right to have rights, to freely participate in our political community. The framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every free-born person in this land. We keep that promise today. President Trump calling the decision, quote, bad for our country, while also claiming without evidence that the ruling gave Congress a roadmap for legislation to do away with birthright citizenship. House Speaker Mike Johnson criticizing the court's decision, which he learned about in real time during his weekly news conference.
Just came down.
Oh dear.
That decision is children born in the United States, parents unlawfully or temporarily present, are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause. What's your reaction to that, Mr. Speaker?
Well, I need to read the opinion, okay? But obviously that's, I mean, you could say that's a textualist, originalist view. However, I do think that this has been grossly abused in recent years. And I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as a Congress.
Speaker Johnson also insisting that Republicans are going to look at legislation, potential legislation on birthright citizenship. The ACLU's legal director, who argued this case before the Supreme Court, responded, basically telling the speaker, good luck.
Look, millions and millions of Americans, the vast majority of the American public, loves birthright citizenship the way it is, the way that it was ratified in this country in the 1800s. This is a pillar of who we are as a nation. So if they want to try and overturn it by constitutional amendment, good luck to them, because they're going against the will of the people of this country.
You know what the problem is of this country? The biggest problem in this country is that we gave too many people an opportunity and too many people power. That's the biggest problem in this country, right? And we have so many different tongues from so many different nations having a say-so on how things go in the U.S. That's the problem with Europe. That's the problem with Italy. That's the problem with a lot of countries outside of the U.S. But you know what you'll never be able to do over in China? You know what you'll never be able to do over in Japan? You know what you'll never be able to do over in the Middle East? Is that you don't have a say-so as an outsider. And so the only way for us to combat this is to get people out of here that's not supposed to be here and be a lot more strict on enforcing the rules to prevent people from doing stuff that they're not supposed to do and benefiting from American taxpayers. You can't do this. You can't go into other places and have your way. This ain't Burger King. The will of the people became people from not coming over here the right way. And so now they have a say-so over what happens when it ain't even got nothing to do with them. Of course they gonna want it to happen because they the ones that benefited from it. It don't make it right. It doesn't make it right. Just because you was born, just because you was able to benefit from it, doesn't mean that we support or that the people should support the foolishness. It's not right. It's not right. It ain't never been right and ain't never gonna be right. And just because the law itself was broadly written doesn't mean that you are not being disingenuous to know that it was written on the backs of slaves, descendants of slaves. If there had never been any descendants of slaves, if there had never been any slavery, we wouldn't even be having this conversation in the first place. You know why? Most of the things that was transformational in this country, and I'm just going to keep it 100 with you, most of the things that were transformational in this country came directly as a result of Black people suffering. That's why I believe that people should feel disrespected. And it's not that you can't benefit from some of the things that was advocated for or all of that type of stuff, but to sit here and say the will of the people, man, listen, they don't even acknowledge that it was written for you. They say it's for the people. It's broadly to be interpreted to be for everybody. They don't even acknowledge you. Imagine you the person that set the standard for how things were supposed to go inside of this joint, and they don't even mention you. They don't even acknowledge the sacrifice that you made or your people made to ultimately get them to this point in the first place. Imagine that. They don't even acknowledge Black people. The people that are talking, come on, man, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. The people that are talking about this, that are doing the deep dives on it, don't even acknowledge your ancestors. They don't even acknowledge that it was written for you. They look at you and say, thank you. Thank you. They don't even look at you as human. They look at you as a toy, as a pawn to be used to ultimately get you out the way so that they can then benefit from whatever it is that was written for you. Everything, and I'm going to keep it 100, and this is why I don't have no respect for the people that vote Democrat. Everything that was written for Black people has been taken over and then benefiting other people more than it did for Black people. And that's what's crazy about it, Gerald Sparrow, is that they're celebrating the ruling. That is insane to me. It is insane to me. And even in 2026, Trump, the Republicans, are fighting on the behalf of Black people, while other people that are Black, and those are the real sellouts. You are the sellout. Bruh, what makes you think that in any way, shape, or form that they will ever consider a reparation for you? And they don't even acknowledge you when it comes to birthright citizenship. Why would they acknowledge you? They don't even acknowledge you as far as this whole Supreme Court ruling. They don't even acknowledge descendants of slaves. They don't even acknowledge the slaves. If you look at Justice Roberts' whole layout of his decision making and his ruling, it's not even referring to black people. So now I'm supposed to take you serious. Here's the real key. You were never anything more than a monetary gain, valuing a pawn. And even in your freedom, they still using you to continue to benefit off of you financially because you're stupid. You were brought over here for work, to build up this country. And you still fighting against your own best interest because mentally, even though they got you off the plantation, you still a slave mentally because you don't think for yourself. You're uneducated. You're ignorant. You let women lead you, and you don't really know how to advocate for yourself positively. But the first thing that you got to do for yourself is to prevent everybody else from taking what's yours. This is your country. And somebody else can just walk in with size 14 shoes and stomp all over what your people fought for. And it's so funny. You don't have nothing. Nothing. You don't own a piece of land. At least the native Indians, at least they can go and smoke crack in peace on a reservation. At least they can go and get drunk and do meth in peace on a reservation. You don't have nothing. You don't have nothing in this world, on this land, nothing. You don't even own the house that you own. You still got to pay property taxes on it. You don't own nothing. Listen, at the very least, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. At the very least, they should have not forced black people to pay taxes for the next 250 years. But why would they do that? And you don't even have any say-so when it comes to birthright citizenship. Why would they do that? And you don't even have no say. You too ignorant to advocate for yourself. You too ignorant for somebody else to not take what's yours. I do speak against reparations, 100%, because I think that y'all too ignorant and too stupid to really understand what that means. And you don't even understand that they're not going to go into $13 trillion and more debt to give you reparations, dummy. So what do? You do things that are supposed to be more effective. One of my executive coaches told me at one point, Anton, why are people fighting for, or why would you ever fight for something that you could never achieve? Are you doing it just a token? Are you doing it just because? Or do you actually want to be effective? So what would you do as a solution? I just gave you one. Because you're never going to get taxpayers to agree to go into debt by trillions to give you some money. You're never going to get that, right? So what would you do? In return, how would you do? You show a force. You stop voting based off of just, this is Democrats, we're going to vote for it. First, you have to mobilize. Second, you have to start proving that you won't vote just based off of identity and just based off of, hey, you a Democrat, we're going to vote for that by default. Third, you have to start having conversations on what real economic stability and growth looks like. It doesn't look like them going into debt. It looks like them forcing them to then give you something or give you a better opportunity. If opportunity is what you're looking for, what is it that you get a better opportunity with? The first thing that you do is you get to keep more of your money. You know why I'm not tripping about it, though? You know why it's so funny? You know why I'm not tripping about it? It's because it's the poorest ones and the dumbest ones that's going to suffer the most. I'm never going to suffer. Never going to suffer. Ever. Poster children, use it in order to continue to build up the different classes. You the foundation, you the heel.
Of the United States.
But the Supreme Court also delivered victories to the president and Republicans today, first by upholding state bans on transgender athletes and girls and women's sports in a pair of 6-3 decisions along ideological lines. While the rulings were focused on bans in West Virginia and Idaho, they will impact 25 other states with similar restrictions. And in another 6-3 decision, the justices sided with Republicans, striking down campaign finance rules that limit how much national political parties can spend in coordination with individual candidates. We'll have more on that later in the show. But to kick things off, joining me from the White House is NBC News senior policy reporter Shannon Pettypiece. Also with me, NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett and NBC News senior Supreme Court reporter Lawrence Hurley. Shannon, let's start with you. Now, most legal experts had expected the Supreme Court to uphold birthright citizenship. Was the White House surprised by today's decision?
Well,
nope,
you may recall, Ryan, that President Trump actually attended these oral arguments, which was a highly unusual move for a president. Now, he left after about 30 minutes before the arguments were completed and before the justices asked some really prodding questions. But, of course, my colleagues here have reported extensively that it did seem the court was skeptical of the argument that the administration was making. So it should not come as a big surprise to the White House the way this ruling came down.
And Shannon, it does seem pretty clear from the ruling that birthright citizenship is enshrined in the 14th Amendment. But now President Trump is calling on Congress to end birthright citizenship through legislation. Given that that's not going to happen, what is the White House's strategy here?
Yeah, well, and just to be perfectly clear, this is what that would take to have a constitutional amendment. You would have to get 2/3 of the House and the Senate to vote to make that change.
Not gonna happen.
Then you would have to get the states to ratify it. You would have to get 38 of the 50 states to ratify that change. You cover the Hill regularly. I'll let you predict the odds on how likely that is to pass. But that is a long haul ahead if Congress wants to do something. So what
I think that Trump should just stop trying to fight for black people in this situation and stop trying to eliminate this and just focus on enforcing the rules and enforcing the laws and preventing people from coming over here illegally and beefing up our border and spending more money on ICE to deport people that's not supposed to be here so we can eliminate this. That's what I think. It's never going to happen. You're not going to get 2/3 of Congress to agree to this. You're not then going to get the states to be able to agree to it. It's not going to happen. So it's an L. It's certainly an L. And you got to take your L's in the same way that you take your dubs. Sometimes you take L's and the L's hurt significantly. And it may not necessarily hurt you, but it may hurt the people. And they don't even know that it hurts them. But it's okay because sometimes people advocate for L's. Trump is not going to be able to go around the court. I'm just going to keep it 100 with y'all. Trump is not going to be able to go around it and get this passed through Congress. It's not going to happen. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it 100. Sometimes you take your L's and you just keep it moving. It's no point entertaining it. Sometimes, yep, I lost this one. Yep, we lost this one. And it's just not something that it didn't make out the way that it was supposed to make out. You fought the good fight. Start spending more of your energy on things that actually matter. Because you're not gonna fix it. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Your kids are gonna be the ones that's pissed off for it. Your grandkids are the ones that's gonna suffer for it, though. How do you know when you're making a good decision? How do you know when you're making a smart decision? How do you know that this decision makes sense? Well, you always take into consideration the people that you care about the most. That's how you know that you're making the right decision long term. That's a rule of thumb that I have in my mind for both culture, society, my family, and myself. I take myself out of it and I say, well, how will the people that depend on me the most, how will the future of people that go off of or is impacted by the decisions that I make going to be able to suffer or benefit from this? Even if it's just one person, right, that you're taking into consideration, that's how I know that I'm making the right decision. And in a lot of instances, we let our feelings determine what we're going to do, and we don't push ourselves based off of what's best for the other people. Your car says, I'm convinced that black people are taught to self-hate, and then when you try to wake them up from it, they look at you as an enemy because it means that they'll have to be better. You know what? I'm going to do you one better, your car. I think that we're cursed. And I don't think that it's all black people. I think that all of culture that refuse to divest themselves from this same mentality that you just stated, I believe it's truly a curse. And in order to break the curse, you actually have to declare yourself independent from that way of thinking. It is a true, I believe spiritually, it is a curse. It's just like the children of Israel. It's just like the children of Israel. Even when they were free and they were promised the land of milk and honey, they always reverted back to turning their back on God and worshiping idols. And even to the point to where they were complaining and saying that we were better off under Pharaoh. We were better off under the Democratic Party. We were better off as slaves. It's no different than what's happening today. It's no different. It's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing. It's a curse. And unless you have all of the wherewithal to be able to break free of it and to divest yourself, it's hard. It's hard. And here's the caveat to that. I'll do you one better. Your leaders, civil rights leaders, celebrity leaders that all say that they're for this, they have broken away. They're using it as a grift to continue to make money and be exalted. And they don't want to lose their audience, so they understand their capitalistic grifting ways will continue to make them a bag. So they gonna live amongst the white people. Matter of fact, most of them vote Republican. They can't say it out loud. I cannot tell you how many people have reached out to me during the 2024 election and say, yeah, you're right. I just can't say the same thing that you say because, I got to sell this music or I got to make sure that I stay connected to the culture. Y'all are so dumb that you don't even realize that the very people that you think is on your side is not even on the plantation no more. They just continuing to monetize. They slave owners, just like the black slave owners back in the day. They are not a part of the same group. They don't live amongst you. They don't live in a black city. They don't hang with you. All of their neighbors don't look like you. Most of the time, the people that they marry don't look like you. They don't marry you. They don't have children with you. They don't adopt your philosophy. They don't vote like you. They don't roll with you. All they got to do is get on their phone and their device and act like that they pro-black and say that they pro-black and talk a little bit of junk about Trump, but they don't rock with that. That's not their life. That's not how they raise their kids. They don't put their kids in the same classrooms as you. They don't let their kids talk to you. They don't let their kids even get close to you. You couldn't get close to them. You couldn't reach out to them and truly get anything from them. They're not hanging with you. They're hanging with them. Keep it at 100. They can't relate to you. I'm down here with you. They up there with them. And then if they get caught every once in a while, you'll see a Chili go come out and say, I categorically deny I made a mistake and I fat fingered it of what I reposted. That type of stuff don't even hit your algorithm if you ain't interested in it. It don't even hit your algorithm if you're not interested in it. They listen, all of their money, their resource, what you think that they rent? You think they rent their studios from other black people? Huh? You think that the majority of the people that are in their city council, in their neighborhood, the superintendent, they don't even have mayors. They have township supervisors. You think that all of their money is going back into you, so they throw you a couple bones here and there. Oh, okay, cool. Yep. Yeah, I gave back to the community. I went and spoke at the school. They didn't leave a donation. They didn't leave a scholarship. The housekeepers is immigrants. The security is a white-owned company. Might have a black security guard working for it, but definitely the person that owned the security company is a white company. The cars that they buy, the clothes that they wear, the jewelry that they buy is all coming from, y'all don't even have no black jewelry makers. Y'all go and shop at Johnny Dang. You get your grills, you get all of this stuff. Everything you do, you not boycotting nothing. You ain't boycotting a goddamn thing. You ain't boycotting nothing. Everything you do, from the device that you talking on the phone on to the microphone that you buy for your stupid ass podcast, to the platform that you streaming on, you ain't boycotting nothing. The chains that you buy, the shoes that you wear, the vacations that you travel to. You ain't boycotting a nothing. You a slave. You don't even know how economics work well enough to be able to divest yourself from anything. You just talking. You a big talker. You ain't got no job to give nobody. You ain't got nothing. You a beggar. You got to cosplay and pretend that you like white people in order to get a job so that you can pay your bills. You don't even know how to stand up for yourself. You don't know how to build a piece of infrastructure. You don't live in you can't control who your neighbors are. You don't know nothing. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got a pot to piss in, yet you want to sit here and have a conversation about what should and shouldn't happen. You don't have no power. The only people that can make decisions in this country is people that got power. You know how you get on the board? You know how you're able to determine who the CEO of a company is? You buy enough shares, and then you control what happens in the company. The CEO answers to the board. They don't make a decision on their own. They get approval. So what do people do? They buy into so many shares of the company so that they get a seat on the board. That's it. You don't have a seat at the table. The table that you're trying to sit at is a table that was given to you to make you feel good about yourself. It's no different than you going to the store, to the toy store, and buying your little kid a teacup and a table, letting them pretend like they at a tea party. But after you get done, come in here and eat this broccoli. Come in here and eat this 3-course dinner because I'm the one that provide. I'm the one that put this roof over your head. Don't know nothing. Ain't got a pot to piss in. And sitting here talking to me, having a conversation with me. What? What? You don't have a connection. You don't even have anybody that you can call and say, hey, let me get $100,000 to start my business. You trying to figure out how to find a grant writer. You trying to figure out how to get your credit up so you can go to a white bank and be able to get a loan to start your little mom and pop store so that you can have your friends and family come and buy Chinese hair. You don't know a person. You don't have nobody in your contacts where you can say, hey, let me hold $100,000 for the next 6 months. Let alone $1 million. I ain't even going to say $1 million. You don't have nothing. No infrastructure, no nothing. You've been pooling our resources together for all of these years. Oh, no, we're going to come together. We're going to start this fund. And then you see somebody that's a part of the culture run off with your money. We're going to start a school. Somebody a part of the culture run off with your money. The only schools that you can go to was established by white people. The very names on those schools was established by white people so that you can call them an HBCU because they gave you an opportunity. Crazy. You don't even know the history of the very school that you stand on, but you sitting here arguing about HBCUs versus PWIs. They all PWIs. All of them. You talking about? You've been behind enemy lines for your whole life. You're going to struggle from the time that you open up your eyes to the time that you close them. And then they're going to give you video games to distract you from what's really happening in the world because we ignorant and we dumb and we looking for an escape. It's all the same. They don't support you because you black. They support you because it's a marketing opportunity for them to make more money. Oh, I want a seat at the table. Thinking that you relevant, thinking that your opinion matter. The only reason you can talk is because you on a Chinese app. TikTok was developed by Chinese people. Chinese technology, ByteDance. And guess who came and bought it? Oracle. Larry Ellison. So excited. Oh my God. We need to band together. They looking at y'all on that app like, look at these fools. Look at these dummies. It's a Chinese app. And everything you do, they get a percentage of it anyway. And you want to sit here and talk about power, economic purchase and power. Economic purchase and power. Shut the fuck up. Let's just be talking, bro. Let's just be whining. Whining. Ain't got a pot to piss in. Can't even survive 6 months if you got laid off today. Ain't got a dime to your name. You begging. You a beggar. Somebody come save me. Give us free. But can't wait to align yourself with a new group. You know what? Have y'all seen that new Poly show on Netflix? It's so good. I don't even want to be involved in anything that I don't have an equity in, right? Unless I got stock in it, I don't want to talk about it. And yes, I do have a lot of stock in Alphabet, and it continues to grow on a daily basis. I don't even participate on the app unless I can buy into it. Unless somehow, some way, I can invest in it. I'm not giving no money to nobody that I'm not making money from. Unless you paying me a dividend or I can see the value in the stock going up, I don't want to participate. I don't want to do it. I'm not interested. Oh, that's too over your head, right? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Instead of boycotting Target, they should have bought Target. If you wanted to have some say-so, you shouldn't be begging the CEO. You should have got a board seat. Crowdfund your way in the buying. Create an ETF that includes Target. That way you have equity into the company so you can determine what happens. Money moves the needle. Nobody cares about your protests. Money moves the needle. If you want to have a decision to make, then you have to be the person that controls what happened. No, I don't like what happens. Then take it over and make it different if you like it, but you don't want to divest from it. including the black church. The black church got no movement whatsoever. It's a fake organization. Catholics got more power. The Catholic Church got more motion than the black church. All they can do is shout, praise, and pretend like they boycotting. The only thing that they care about, these politicians don't even come by y'all churches unless it's time for election time. Then you're going to see them popping up at the church, getting fake prayer from demons. What you talking about? I'm just sick of it, bro. I'm sick of the poverty mindset. I'm sick of the broke mindset. I'm sick of arguing with people that don't know what they talking about. Sick of it, bro. It's old. It's tired. You still talking the same old, same old. And they got a pot to piss in. I'm going to read Super Chat shortly. We got to get to this next thing before we take an interlude. We might have to take a break today. We might have music break for sure today.
Mayor Brandon Johnson introduces a major overhaul of rules for renters and landlords across the Chicago area, but some remain skeptical about who the changes could impact most. WGN political editor Taman Bradley is here now with details on how this would work, what he means by all this. Hello, Taman.
Hello, Lourdes. In Chicago, more than half of all occupied housing units are rentals. So we're talking about a measure that would impact 622,000 households. Mayor Johnson says this would be the biggest update to the city's housing laws since the Harold Washington era. Today, Mayor Johnson unveiled a sweeping plan to overhaul Chicago rental laws.
Housing is a human right. It cannot just be a rallying cry. It must be the reality for every Chicagoan.
Now, I want you to look in the background and look at all of these people, right? They not y'all. They not y'all. It's only 2 black people in that entire audience. 3. And the third one is a police officer. All of these signs are printed. They spent an extraordinary amount of money in order to get these signs passed out to y'all. These are not signs that were made. These were signs that were created. Yes, last night, more people died in Chicago. I was going to do that, but I was like, you know what? Let's not even do it because people die in Chicago every day, B. That's a normal occurrence. We're not tripping about that. They got a new slogan. They hired somebody in order to create the PRO campaign. Pro transparency, pro affordability, pro Chicago. That's the new slogan that they're pushing from Brandon Johnson. And as you notice, he's trying to come down a little bit off that mohawk. He's trying to ease into a regular haircut because he realizes that we've been calling him Mayor Mohawk. Okay? But let me break down this whole rent situation for y'all.
The Protecting Renters Ordinance would create a citywide rental data system to help guide enforcement and policy decisions. All non-owner occupied rental units would be required to register. The proposal would also create a Bureau of Rental Housing Services.
So now what the city is basically doing is moving you guys into socialism and communism, right? They are requiring to create a database for anybody that is renting a property in Chicago so that they can do what?
To handle rental complaints and investigate violations.
It will bring our housing laws into the 21st century, creating a new office that will streamline enforcement and level the playing field of our mom and pop's landlords.
The ordinance would also standardize fees and deposits, strengthen tenant rights, and create a tenant bill of rights. Eviction notice would change. Landlords would be required to provide just cause before they kick someone out or refuse to renew their lease.
A landlord has to provide just cause if you don't want to renew their lease. What? I don't have to have a reason to where I don't want to renew your lease. What do you mean? Your lease is up. That's the whole point of a lease. You have to provide just cause for evictions. How about you didn't pay? Or if you don't want to renew their lease, you have to go through the city of Chicago and this new bureau to be able to get either a different tenant or to sell your property or to get from under the person that's leasing the property. What if I want to move back into my house? I have never heard of such things before in my life. I have never heard of such things in my life. When did I have to provide you an explanation for not wanting you to stay in my property after your lease is up? I ain't even talking about the evictions. A tenant bill of rights, strengthen tenant rights, and standardized fees and deposits. That means that, follow me here, right? I'm looking for a certain amount for my property because the next thing that's going to happen in Chicago think it's New York without the money. Chicago think it's New York without the billionaires. Chicago think it's New York without the millionaires. Chicago think it's New York without Mom Donnie. Next thing that's coming is standardized rent freezes and all of this stuff because all they doing is trying to move in the same direction as New York, right?
Peace.
Landlords will need to have a just reason before asking a tenant to leave their unit. And if they do not, they will be required to support the tenant with relocation assistance.
A landlord will be required to provide justification for not renewing their lease. I want everybody to pay attention to this that's looking to invest in real estate in Chicago. You're going to have to provide justification, or if you're not able to provide a sufficient amount of justification as justified by the city of Chicago's new bureau, then you will have to provide relocation assistance. That means you'll have to then pay to have them move. This is insane. This is insane. I had a person that I was coaching. And it was like, Anton, I'm having this trouble. I'm having problems with my tenants, and it was over in California. And so I had them break down the situation, and I said, wait a minute, are you trying to get them up out of there? And they said, yeah, but they're backlogged, and it's going to probably take me at least 2 years sometimes to be able to get this tenant out. Meanwhile, they're not paying anything, and so I'm not making no profit, and so I got to use my regular income from my job to still be able to pay for the mortgage, and they had more than one property. And it was like, and I'm hoping that this tenant over here continue to pay their mortgage or whatever, or continue to pay their rent because, you know, I still got mortgages on the property. And I said, let me ask you a question. What are you doing in real estate, rental properties in California? He was like, yeah, man, I know that you had said that on the Millionaire Morning Show. You've been saying that for years, but I'm already in it. I was already in it. And so he was like, he discovered me after he had already been in it, right? But he was explaining to me how difficult it was and how much of a chance that they had to take. And then he said if they got them put out, and if somebody decided to stay there afterwards, immediately after they put somebody out, they got to hurry up and lock up the property because the squatters' rights in California is insane. So now, over in Chicago, if you decide that you don't want to continue to have this person in your property for whatever reason, you have to provide them, if you can't justify it to this bureau, you have to provide them with transitional housing or assistance with finding a new place. Now, what a lot of people don't understand about the rental market or renters or landlords, overwhelming majority of landlords are people that have 1 or 2 properties, mom and pop, are not institutional investors, don't have 1,000 properties, 1,000 doors. They're not in the finance industry. They're people that's trying to make it. They're people that actually own the property. They're people that if you don't pay the mortgage, they're going to be strained. Some people are renting out their properties and they actually underwater for the total costs that come along with it. So now you have to pay them to move from your property that you don't want them to stay in anymore.
The Chicagoland Apartment Association strongly opposes the ordinance, saying in a statement, at a time when the city urgently needs more housing supply and investment, this proposal adds new penalties, mandates, administrative burdens, and legal exposure. Mayor Johnson ally Alderman Byron Cicho Lopez says talks continue.
So we're trying to incorporate feedback that is in line with what we hear are the needs of both tenants and small homeowners.
Supporters call this only the beginning of the conversation. They hope that the ordinance hits the full council for a vote in the fall, Lourdes.
All right, Taman, thank you.
I am truly honored to stand in solidarity with the incredible housing and tenant advocates who have never wavered in their collective fight to build a housing system that works for every Chicagoan. We're also joined today by just ordinary Chicagoans who for too long have shouldered the burden of instability and unsafe living conditions that no one should ever have to accept. As we gather today, we are in the midst of a crushing housing crisis, one that has forced undue hardships on working families, not just here in Chicago, but across this nation. Our homes are more than financial assets and opportunities for corporations to increase their profit margins. They are where families come together at the end of a long day. They are where life's biggest moments happen and lasting memories are made. Where children grow up, neighbors become friends, and communities are built. As our families fight to get by and get ahead, we've watched as rents continue to skyrocket, while faceless, unaccountable corporations continue to buy up homes and consolidate their influence over the housing market. But we're done watching, Chicago. Housing is a human right. It cannot just be a rallying cry. It must be the reality for every Chicagoan. We must use every tool available to us to keep Chicagoans in their homes and protect the stability that is the lifeblood of our communities. For too long, Chicago has lagged behind other cities. Past administrations have kept organizers at arm's length while declining to implement critical protections that have yielded results across the country. We have not updated our renter protections since they were first established over 40 years ago under the leadership of Mayor Harold Washington. And needless to say, relief is long overdue. And Chicagoans deserve an approach that puts people first and not profits. And that's why I'm incredibly proud to formally announce that my administration is introducing the Protecting Renters Ordinance. This sweeping overhaul of our existing laws will create new transformational protections for renters, protecting Chicagoans from predatory landlords, expensive and unexplained junk fees, displacement, and no-fault evictions. It will bring our housing laws into the 21st century, creating a new office that will streamline enforcement and level the playing field of our mom and pop landlords. And it will establish a rental registry, empowering the city to hold corporate landlords accountable while granting transparency to ensure renters know exactly who owns their building. The impact of these issues stretch far beyond lease agreements and maintenance requests. Landmark research from the University of Chicago reaffirms that housing instability has a direct relationship to increase rates of violence. As we continue to build lasting safety in neighborhoods across our city, we must prevent unnecessary displacement and invest in stability and peace, and do this to make sure that there's peace in mind for every family. The fight we are embarking upon today comes at a critical time. Affordability remains one of the greatest challenges facing our city, and we will build the new housing our city needs but we must ensure new investment creates opportunity and not displacement. The resistance that we will face will be certainly fierce. Corporate interests are already mobilizing to defeat us and preserve the status quo. But we will not back down. And I know that because of the people that I see that are standing here today, that this coalition will continue to build. This ordinance would not have been possible without the years of steadfast advocacy and community organizing that has brought this moment to fruition. So I want to thank our partners on the City Council who have worked collaboratively with our administration.
Some people said, did the aldermen help vote this in? There's your answer.
To formulate this ordinance and push forward. So today is just the beginning. Thank you all for standing up and joining this fight. So now let's continue to work. God bless you all.
There you go. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. I just don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Why don't people get it? Why don't people understand it? Why aren't people figuring this out? How are they not putting this together? I don't. I am very confused. And it's mind-blowing to me. I mean, this is such obvious, basic. Even if you just watch the show, I'm breaking it down from a C student's perspective on exactly what this means for you guys. Like, why don't we get it? Why don't we understand it? Why is it so hard to figure out? Why are we always behind the 8 ball and trying to grow and become different or whatever? That's my rant for the day. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Some of y'all be looking forward to the music segment. We're going to go all over. AP says, hey, Anton, I'm 38 and wondering, is it too late to get into IT? Nope. But if you do get into it, you want to specialize. Absolutely not too late. If you're 38, let's just round it off to 40. That means that you probably going to work at least another 30 years minimum. Heck no, it ain't too late. Get into it. Country Boy Finesse says, Unc, thank you for the insight. I need that call. I'm working on y'all. I'm working on it. Billy Ray Baby Time. That's my girl. Says, good morning, King. Sorry I'm late. Countdown to 7:25. What up, Billy Ray? Johnny Mack says, did you see where NFL defensive end Kalis Campbell mom found in her Buckhead apartment, and his other son being in custody for it? Send an email. No, I haven't heard about that. Let me look it up. Courtney Yeager Show. What up, Courtney? What up, big dog? Wesley Turner in the building says, liberals are erasing black folks' contributions. Vito Royale says, hard times create strong men, strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. Wesley Turner says, honestly, AD, do you think our country is cooked over the next 50 to 100 years? I'm trying to understand what the country will be like over the next 10. I think in the next, I'm 44. I think after my lifetime, I don't know what this country is going to look like. The biggest problem that I think that we have in this country has nothing to do with social issues. It has everything to do with our national debt. If we don't, at some point, in some way, shape, or how, stop this national debt from continuing to explode, because we're already paying over $1 trillion in interest alone. If we don't somehow fix the national debt, then the country is cooked. We got to tackle this national debt. Dems keep on replacing blacks with Latinos, says Eli Saul. AR is back, says Babyface Race on. Fob Brown want me to play Larry June. AR want me to play Babyface Ray. Saifo says, AD, check out South African citizens put a deadline for the 30th of June and kicked out thousands of illegals. I know. Over in Johannesburg, they actually protesting. I might talk about that. I didn't know if y'all wanted to even go into that. What up to Pure Blood says, even Stevie Wonder can see through this BS. Smetty, what up, Smetty? says socialism equal to gifts that keeps on giving and giving and giving. Brandon Johnson is a hypnotist for the left. Just a Brown Girl in America says the music segment is amazing, but you won't ever play reggae for me. It makes me sad. I'm taking requests. I would like to know, and again, shout out to Sister for the 500 ball holding me down earlier today. Thank you, Sister. It does not go unnoticed. All right. So I think what I'm going to play today is something a little bit different. Music break. After the music break, let me see what we're going to tackle. We got 4 rehiring engineers. Patrick Bet David on GTA 6. Women having children in their 40s. Carbuyers disappearing. I don't know. We got a lot to pick from, so we're gonna mine that out. All right. This is Bookert Braziel. And the name of the song is called She Is. Bookert, Bookert, Braziel, Braziel. And the name of the song is called She Is.
Relax your mind, come inside. You keep on coming back now. Look at how you sit, busting out the britches. Buck it up, no quitting. Buck it up, no quitting. Look at what you bring.
The second song was Larry June, called Canadian Snow. All right, yeah. Don't worry about what it's referring to. But the second song was Larry June, Canadian Snow. All right. I listen to a diverse group of music. All right. Let me see what we got on the docket coming up. Ford, Patrick Bet David. Let's see something. Where do we want to transition over to next? I want to talk about cars. And the main reason why I want to talk about cars is there have been a few more releases. So we're going to navigate this next section a little bit differently. Get this fool off my screen, Brandon Johnson. It's Wednesday already, y'all. Hump day. Best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. That link is pinned to the top of the chat. I'm looking forward to kicking it with people in DC this month. We all like cars, right? I think that everybody likes cars. They just came out with a new Lamb. Actually, they updated the Lamb. Urus SC Performante. Let me see. Hey.
Urus, right? Practical, comfortable, fast. Well, there's a new one, and it's even faster.
It kind of looks like a that front grille. This is the new Urus SE Performante. It kind of looks like, you know how the Lexus grille goes in and out? Oh, not that one. Kind of reminds me of that. How it kind of goes in and out like that. Or maybe that one right there.
This is the Lamborghini Urus SE Performante, which Lamborghini says is the fastest Urus ever. In fact, it's the fastest super SUV ever, combining extreme performance and driving precision without sacrificing comfort.
They milking everything out of
We'll
this
get to the
platform.
comfort bit in just a second, but let's focus on the stuff that you're interested in, which is performance. So, the previous Urus Performante was powered by something called an internal combustion engine. Yeah, ask your grandfather. This new one is powered by a powertrain. Ask your nephew. That combines that familiar 4-litre twin-turbo V8 that we know and love, and it works alongside batteries and an electric motor to improve efficiency and performance. And actually, this is a big moment because from here on, there are no Lamborghinis powered purely by ICE. Think about it. There's Rivuelto, Fenomeno, Temerario, and Urus, all plug-in hybrids. The big advantage of the new powertrain? Power. 812 horsepower.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. This past week, I think Friday, I went and got my Challenger. And so I've been driving around in the Challenger and the Hellcat. And I think that's what, I got a Hellcat jailbreak. And that's 717 horsepower. The Lamborghini that I have is like 907 horsepower. This is 812. I don't think that people really care about horsepower as much as they used to, simply because all of the numbers is outrageous. All of the specs are outrageous. To have a SUV have 812 horsepower. Here in Detroit, listen, Trackhawks, TRXs, Mustangs, Camaros, all kind of stuff, everybody, BMW M3 competitions, it's horsepower wars. Everybody is putting, and I know that in a lot of different places, it's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, the ZR1X is like 1,200 horsepower. It beat a Rimac, right? Like 812 bro, whenever I even touch I could be driving. Let's say I'm going 40, 50, 60 miles an hour and I'm cruising and I decide to hit the gas. You can lose it. You can literally fishtail if you don't know how to control the car because it's automatic. Like it's just crazy. It's crazy. I remember when they first came out with the Hellcats and they was like, yo, this is 700 horsepower. And people was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Now they crossing 700, 800, 900 horsepower without even blinking. Anyways, I don't know if it's cool enough to be able to order for something that I think that I will order or something like that, but neither here nor there.
In 2026, the auto industry in the US is expected to sell about 1.5 million fewer units than it did when the industry hit record sales about a decade ago. According to some, this isn't a temporary slump. It's the beginning of a structural decline. Annual US car sales could fall to 13.7 million units by 2040. Demographics, technology, and changing behavior all point to a permanent shift.
It is the perfect storm, isn't it? It starts with population declines. You're no longer a growth industry. You're a declining industry at a time when the technology is disrupting everything.
US population growth has slowed and at this point depends entirely on immigration. If immigration policies tighten, the auto market is bound to stagnate or shrink. Second, consumer behavior. About half of 16-year-olds are not even getting driver's licenses.
When I was 16, everybody was waiting for the day their birthday came around to run down to the DMV and get their license. So that is definitely a factor and a trend that is impacting this.
By age 25, most people do have a license, but they're confronted with vehicle prices that are too high, which keep them out of the car market. For Sam Fiorani of Auto Forecast Solutions, the primary threat to vehicle volumes is price.
We're still seeing groups of young people who enjoy driving and want a new car, but fewer can afford it. You need the younger people, the less wealthy people of us, to start buying new vehicles.
Third, technology. Auto industry forecaster Mark Godfredson said that if autonomous vehicle tech improves enough to become mainstream, the share of the population with driver's licenses could drop by about 2 to 3% by 2040.
The reason why Democrats are so gung-ho about keeping immigrants in here or letting people inside of the country is because we're becoming wiser and we're becoming smarter. And so instead of being like Japan, we're trying to be more like China. We're trying to find that balance between growth and wisdom. People don't even really understand that they're not advocating, Democrats are not advocating for you when it comes to not deporting illegal migrants. They think that A, that's the new voter class, and B, that's the new consumers. Because as you get older, as you get wiser, we're not going to have as many children, or we're not gonna breed as many children because we're smart enough to understand that it's not affordable and it's not a lifestyle that you want to live. So historically, in order for us to grow the population in the US, we had to make sure that we bred, right? It didn't matter if you was poor. It didn't matter if you didn't have anything. It didn't matter if you was on government assistance. Government assistance wasn't a nuisance. It wasn't a problem financially. We weren't in as much debt. We wasn't, raising a national debt at such a catastrophic level, right? We don't know what we don't know. So what do? We incentivize people to have children, and then we push propaganda that basically says you should have more children, white picket fence, so on and so forth. In reality, what they're doing is they're trying to grow two things. They're trying to grow the work class, the working class, people that take the jobs, right? And then they're trying to grow the consumer class. Why? Because the whole thing is built on what I like to call an artificial Ponzi scheme. And so what an artificial Ponzi scheme, as it relates to U.S. consumers really is, can be best described by looking at the Social Security, right? Social Security has to stay funded, but in order for Social Security to stay funded, you have to have more people continuing to pour into it, or else the system itself collapses. Because we don't actually have money put up for Social Security. That's more like an endowment that makes money on top of money that didn't pay people until they die. And so they established Social Security to give a safety net to older workers or older people that are retiring. But at the time, they didn't have the money, but it wasn't as much of a burden because we didn't have as much national debt. We didn't have tax problems. We wasn't paying $1 trillion in interest. So we were able to subsidize and say, well, we'll catch up. But future politicians in the conversation changed from how do we continue to fund Social Security, because we didn't have enough money and the government wasn't managing our money effectively. They weren't managing our money effectively. So now you need us to fund Social Security for the people that's in retirement age. And then hopefully a lot of other people are banking on that are going to retire. Hey, I paid into it my entire life. But in reality, the same conversations are going to happen with the future politicians, and they're going to say, well, we don't have enough money to continue to fund Social Security. So what does that mean, right? How am I translating this? What I'm telling you is they are looking to either import more people here that they hope will ultimately translate into being taxpayers and consumers, because in order for you to really be able to stand up a market, you have to have both. You have to have consumers and you have to have workers. So now that people are getting smarter, we're getting smarter, you getting smarter, we saying, listen, grandma was crazy. She had 13 kids that she couldn't take care of, and we was living in poverty, but we was happy. Now we're saying, you know what? I want a better quality of life. I don't want to be restricted to the same home for the rest of my life. I don't want to be restricted for student loans. I don't want to be restricted from this, because as you know more. You're supposed to do better. And you're supposed to make better decisions, right? So now, how do they not only get people to keep Democrats in office, politicians in office that's been doing the same thing, running the same play? How do they keep a new consumer class? You have to import it. You have to bring in a new group of ignorant people that are willing to buy more cars. Because remember, in the very beginning of this conversation, what did he say? The biggest problem that we have, one of the biggest problems that we have is that we don't have enough consumers. We don't have enough people that are going to work and pay the car notes, because you going to buy the car not only supports the manufacturing, but it also supports the worker. And you going to finance the car, not just buy it, but financing it also gives jobs to the people that work at the finance company, which stands up another segment of our businesses here in the U.S., the financing industry, right? And that's why you want to continue to get gamification. All credit is gamification. When we were working in UX, UI, and we would go into the call centers and they would say, how can we get people to take more calls? How can we get people to do better on their calls? What we did was we put a big screen up, we put a leaderboard up, and we gamified the whole situation and said, well, this person is the top employee, and this person is the top employee for the month, right? And so you work harder because instinctively within our minds, we want to do the best, we want to be at the top. And so you gamify the whole situation. We create a credit system, not only to evaluate your likelihood of being able to pay your bills, but so that you'll focus harder on paying off the things that you're supposed to pay off, so that you'll qualify to buy something that you can't afford, and so you'll finance it. Instead of saving for it, and if you have to save for it, then you really know what class you're in. You know, hey, listen, this is the financial class that I'm in because this is all I'm able to save for. This is the car that I'm going to buy, and I'm just going to take care of it and work on it. No, why would I do that? You can just come and buy a new car. You can finance a car that you can't afford. You don't even need the money up front. Put a little bit down, and then this is what we're going to rock out with. Right? So part of the immigration strategy is not what's best for Americans individually, but it's what's best for America when it comes to creating a new consumer class that will fall into the same trap that we used to fall into for the next 100, 150 years. And that's how you stand up an economy. That's how you stand up an economy. Get them in there. Work hard. Make them create a, what does Democrats say? A pathway to citizenship. What did I tell y'all yesterday? The value that you have is based off of how much money you're making, how much money you bringing into the economy. I broke this down yesterday to y'all. So they don't look at you as valuable. A bank can't see you as valuable regardless of how rich you are unless you pull money. Because it's not enough to just have you in there. Either you're going to bank with us, meaning that we can use your money as leverage to loan to other people and make money off of it, or even better, we can do that and we can extend you a line of credit so that we can make interest on both sides on you. A bank looks at a person as a number. That's why we have Social Security numbers, right? The value that you are, bank, casino, consumer, whatever, is the number that you have. It's the number that you bring, right? When you go into a dealership, their eyes light up if you have a credit score that's above 740. They can get you in a car for $650, but they definitely gonna get you in for $740. Oh, whoa. What do you need? What do you need? Hey, can you get them a drink of water? Because the value that you bring is a sale. Now, we so ignorant meaning that we don't know any better, that we believe that they value us based off of our individuality. And you're a human too, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I got a bridge to sell you. Why do you think that they create halo cars? You know what a halo car is? A halo car is a car that you're most likely never going to own, but you can aspire to get. Hey, wait a minute. This new Corvette ZR1X, this new Lamborghini that's going to be on your wall, right? This new Ferrari, oh man, it's got all of this horsepower. You know how many holes you're going to get as a result of buying this car? So now we can get you in the ecosystem. Listen, you a Chevy guy for the rest of your life. You a Ford guy for the rest of your life. We need to create wars, car wars, horsepower wars. What? You a Mopar guy? Psh, Chevy over here. We don't ride nothing but Chevys down here in the South. Nah, I'm a Ford guy. Listen, I'm a rancher. And any Ford guy has to make sure that they get an F-150 because it's the most reliable truck on the road. Built Ford tough. It's marketing, right? It's marketing. It's no different than marketing when it comes to basketball or rivalries in football. Rabid fans show up with their merch and their gear. It's University of Michigan versus MSU. This is the biggest game of the year. We've been looking forward to it. It's all designed to continue to keep you as a consumer. So they create these Halo cars so that you can work your way up through it. Listen, this is a Halo car. We're going to get you in here. One day you're going to be able to afford that Toyota, that Lexus. But let me get you in this Corolla. It's nice, reliable. You know what? Next time you come through, let's get a Camry. What? You got a family? Let's get a Sienna. Didn't you like that last car? And so if I can get you to buy cars for the next 20 years, minimally, 50 years, your whole lifestyle, you put the sign up in your garage, built Ford tough, then I got you for the rest of your life, right? They need you to participate in their marketing ploys so that you can continue to be a consumer and you can stand up the economy. Otherwise, the whole system collapses.
Autonomous vehicles could also stand.
The question that you have to ask yourself is because we will continue to do this as a country. We will continue to do this as a society. The question that you have to ask yourself is, are you the person that is being marketed to, or are you the person that's going to benefit off of the marketing?
And to reduce the number of cars per driver. Historically, that has been about 1.2.
We expect that, in the next 10 years or so to drop to about 1.1 vehicles per driver.
Perhaps the most direct indicator is not the rate at which people buy cars, it's the rate at which they get rid of them.
This is the one that people don't think about, but is that
when we one of the things that everybody, well, not everybody, but people that understand Michigan and Detroit, people think that we never invested in our infrastructure as far as public transportation because we were negligent or because we didn't have the money and the resources. Au contraire. Actually, Detroit was one of the, if not the richest cities. Flint also was one of the richest cities in the United States of America during the American manufacturing boom. There was more wealth pouring through Flint and Detroit, Gary, Indiana, the steel industry. It was more wealth that was pouring into the Midwest than anywhere else in the country, right? You know why we didn't invest in our public transportation? Because it would have took away from sales to major car manufacturers. And they had a stranglehold over here on Michigan because all of the three biggest manufacturers were here in the Metro Detroit area. They lobbied against building and actually started to pull out the train cars. They lobbied against building infrastructure that ultimately, because Woodward right there was the very first paved road in America. So how do you get people to buy more cars? Well, you eliminate their ability for public transportation and you tell them to move further out. We have to create an incentive for people to move further away. Listen, cars, use cars. You can drive into work, right? You can commute. You can now achieve the American dream and be able to still get that white picket fence, 2 kids and a dog and a wife, and then 2 cars. You actually gonna need 2 cars now. So now we're gonna have you drive into work, and then she can go and run her errands, and that's how we're able to sell 2 cars. And listen, we're gonna introduce you to this lease program, and or if your car starts breaking down after the warranty, trade it in and get a new one. Now we've normalized having a car note. Now people think it's regular to have a car note. If you don't have a car note, you're the anomaly. If you don't have a car note, you're the anomaly. It's so funny. I remember I had bought a Saturn. It was a Saturn Aura or Aurora or something like that. This was a long time ago, and I had bought a Saturn something. And I was sitting in the finance guy's office, and it actually blew my mind. And it's not going to seem like a big deal to y'all, but it blew my mind. So I'm sitting in the finance guy's office, and he walks out to go and do something. And he was gone for maybe like 7 to 8 minutes. And so I looked over, and it was a piece of paper that was sitting right on his desk, and it had a list of the most recent purchases. And it literally was like it was written out by hand. And it said, oh, cash, buyer, this, that, finance, whatever. And it was saying, sent like, the details of it. And I seen people have, it was people in there that was buying the car cash. And I was like, I couldn't help myself. And so when he came back in, I asked him, I said, are people buying this cash? And he was like, oh, you seen that? And I said, yeah. He said, yeah, sometimes people come in and they just buy cash for the car and they buy it for their kid or whatever they buying it for. Yeah, they just come in and buy cash. They just send the money over, wire it over, and that's the payment. And, and that's to buy it. And I was like, blew my mind. And I was like, who is just putting this type of money and just buying the car cash? It didn't make sense to me. Because ever since I was born, we were conditioned to believe that you need a car payment and you have to make sure that you get your credit together and you have to make sure that you get enough of your down payment. And that's just the way that we do things. You finance it. So much so to where dealerships prefer people that finance because they get more incentives and they make more money than people that come in and buy cash. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute. People are actually just paying the whole thing? The whole thing. And he was like, yeah. I was like, Then I started profiling. Everybody, I said, let me go use the bathroom. On everything. I go to use the bathroom. I'm walking around. I'm looking. And now I'm profiling. I wonder if they paying cash for their car. I want to hear their conversation. I started profiling people because I wanted to know who was buying their cars cash and what did they look like. And I even wanted to know what was in their bank account. What is in your portfolio? What are you doing for a living? What made you buy cash? I started profiling people. But again, that exposure changed my perspective, which then had me leaning differently on how I looked at finances because I started deprogramming myself from what my norm was because I had always thought that based off of what we was growing up and based on how things was, people always they finance. That's what they do. That is true, Julio. That is better. Play the game, finance, and pay it off in the first month is better than, yep, I agree. I agree. That is always better. That is the way that you should do it. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I just couldn't believe it. I was sitting in a Saturn dealership and the cars wasn't that expensive, obviously. It's a Saturn dealership. But again, I had never heard about somebody paying cash for a car. It was so weird. So how they built the car industry was through financing and making it more accessible to people. That's the same way that they built the housing industry. How do you get more people to get into it, to finance, to make more? How can we make more money selling houses? Now, they're going to pitch it to you and say, hey, listen, home ownership is a human right. Hey, everybody should own a home. That's the marketing. From their perspective, they're trying to figure out how can we make more money in fees? How can we sell more homes? How can we distribute more money? How can we get more money flowing through the bank? How can we acquire more customers? So that's the way they go about doing it.
Actually, the biggest factor in the number of new vehicles that are sold.
In 2000, about 6% of all cars were deregistered in any given year. That's basically a vehicle that's no longer getting registered because it's getting scrapped or sent out of the country. And those cars needed to be replaced with new ones sooner or later. By early 2026, that fell to about 5%. Godfredson estimates it could drop to 4.4 by 2040. Old cars are lasting longer, a record 12.8 years on the road in 2025. New cars are safer and more sophisticated, but that technology carries a price.
Collision avoidance, ADAS systems, all kinds of new technologies that weren't even dreamt of 15 years ago are now becoming standard on everything. So we're going to see those vehicles continue to be more expensive and more people trying to find ways to keep their car on the road longer.
As with all forecasts, things could change. An EV tech breakthrough could spur a boom in vehicle sales. The US could dramatically liberalize its immigration policy. Robotaxis could be a long way off. Godfredson's research...
I see these Waymo vehicles and all of these things driving around looking like bug eyes all over Metro Detroit. It's weird, bro. It's so weird seeing them. And I know that one day I may try them. But right now, I'm just not interested in jumping into a robotaxi. People jumping on a train, they jumping in these Waymo vehicles, they jumping into these cars and stuff. I just can't see myself doing it right now.
It does include a base case of about 15.7 million new car sales in 2040, which is slightly below S&P Global Mobility and Cox Automotive forecasts for 2026. This case assumes licensing rates remain stable, immigration stays at about 900,000 people per year.
Assumes that immigration stays at about 900,000 people per year. They need people to get into the market, to also ultimately need trucks and cars and start businesses and buy supplies and cars and trucks for their businesses and buy everything else and rent out properties and to rent out commercial locations and to get inspired. Yes, open up your own restaurant, open up your own business. Well, that stands up an entire new industry in itself. And they get new car registrations and they can get fines and get more property taxes and more money flows to the economy. And so they need you to stay poor and to have children and to do the things that you're not supposed to do so that you can then be under the thumb of the finance companies. Because if you become too smart and you get too much money and you become too wise, well, then that means that we got to move you over into another class of people of the haves. Now you've crossed over into the haves, right? Now you look at life differently and so, all right. But then we need a whole new class of people.
Population growth is about 0.3 to 0.4% year over year, and there's about 1.2 cars per person. Up until recently, Godfredson expected the structural demand decline to hit as soon as 2030, but the rollout of new technology, especially self-driving cars, is taking longer than many in...
Yep, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, I just wanted to give you a heads up. We are finally all set to go. Everything is wrapped up and ready to rock.
So I can come and pick up my Lamborghini today?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'll be here until 5 o'clock. There will be someone here till 6, but I will be here till 5 o'clock. I have my guys doing a good clean on it for you. They're going to clean the interior and whatnot, but we put about 15 to 20 miles on it just to make sure all those fuel injectors are doing good. She's ready to rock.
All right. I'm coming to get my
Did you get it for the 4th?
Yeah, I'm going to have it for the weekend.
Yes, sir.
Well,
absolutely.
Zach, I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'll be here till 5, so no rush on that. If you can't get here between or before 5, there will be someone here till 6.
All right, cool.
All right, sounds good. Give me a call. Save this 866 number if you ever need anything again with the car, maintenance-wise, or anything along those lines. Just give me a call or shoot me a text at any time.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Not a problem. Take care. See you soon.
All right, bye. Oh, y'all in trouble now. Y'all in trouble now. Oh, man. They had it gone just long enough for me to miss it and to be able to appreciate it. Yeah, they had it gone just long enough for me to be able to appreciate it. It's over. It's over. It's over. I'm going to pick up my car today. Let me go ahead and end this segment. Make sure you guys... No, I'm just playing with you. Oh, man, that couldn't have came at a better time. I was looking at that number like it's an 866 number. Why is an 866 number calling my phone? Because, that's like the toll-free number, like an 800 number. I just so happened to pick it up. Somebody said in the show and go and pick it up. Nah, I'm not going to do that to y'all. I'm not going to do that to y'all. We got work to do. We got work to do. Oh, man. I ain't going to lie. It is hard sometimes for you to sit down and be able to refocus. Let me read some of these super chats. Shout out to my dog. Superfly by Low Steve is my new favorite. I might have to check that out. I'm always looking for good new music. OTG Noble says another horrible tragedy happened in St. Louis. I sent it to your email. Please pray for my city. What is happening in St. Louis? Chris Cunningham says, why are we going hybrid? I think that going hybrid is like an easier way for you to do a lot of things. Like, for example, the gas mileage. You can increase your gas mileage by going hybrid. You also get instant torque, right? Whereas if you got turbos or you got superchargers, you don't get that instant torque, but you can get that instant torque. And it's a way for them to continue to meet emission standards across the world. So it's a lot of reasons why they're going hybrid. I don't mind the hybrid because you really don't notice, to be honest with you. Wesley Turner says, for those who are valuable will live above the BS. We have to make ourselves more valuable so we can always have leverage no matter what happens and to have the knowledge to go with it. Agreed. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to get into Ford. Y'all brought this to my attention yesterday. I had actually been familiar with it. But y'all said that, Anton, we want you to review this. And so here we are. I think that most cars are going to be hybrid going forward, to be honest with you. Ford Motor Company, they're saying that they rehired engineers after replacing them with AI. I don't know what it is.
Ford, the victim of bad AI? Will you tell us, did they fall for something, a spam email?
It could have been in a sense. In reality, what we're talking about here is in recent years, Ford has sacked hundreds of its engineers to make room for AI, which it believed would be able to do those folks' jobs for less money. Guess what? It didn't turn out that way. And what's Ford doing now? They're rehiring many of the same workers that they showed the door to so they could come back and do the jobs that AI couldn't do. Now, many of those jobs in question involve quality control. That is, making sure Ford is getting the results it desires on the factory floor. And it turns out AI lacked the capability to make such judgments. Why? Because it has no gut instincts. And it turns out that when it comes to quality control, being able to eyeball the parts or eyeball the process and make some gut instinct as to how this is going to affect quality overall, that's a distinctly human skill, at least at this point. So now Ford is bringing people back to be able to handle that. And guess what? Quality has gone back up in the factories. But I'm sorry to say, part of the job of these rehired humans is to train AI to be better at the jobs it was supposed to be better at. Not good for the humans.
Ouch, training your replacement.
Bingo.
I don't understand why people think that AI is going to replace human beings. I don't know why people think that. And I've been telling people for a long time that AI is not here to replace human beings. AI is here to supplement. Right? And although I do believe that this is not even Ford headquarters anymore. Ford actually got an upgraded headquarters. They built a whole brand new headquarters over in Dearborn. So this has got to be a stock photo. But I don't know why people think that AI is supposed to replace people. It doesn't. It's not. You can't. I don't know any instance. Maybe in some time in the future, at some point, that'll happen, right? I don't know why they're using this old photo of the headquarters. It's not even Ford's headquarters anymore. That's the new headquarters right there. It's actually pretty sick too. But I don't know why people think that because we have AI that automatically translates into people being replaced. That's not what happens. That's not what happens. You learning AI or learning how to prompt or learning how to use physical AI to assist you is just that. It's assisting you. It's not there to replace you. You can't replace humans that do certain tasks with AI. I'll give you an example. Every day that I wake up, the first thing that pops up on my phone is AI going through my life, right? It goes through all of the different things that I do. It's tied into my calendar. It's tied into my email. That's another reason why I actually prefer and like Gemini. I actually got a new live stream that I'm going over with you guys because I want to deep dive into Anthropic and a couple of other things as far as stock clubs. So before we do another block club, I actually got another stock club coming up that we're doing this weekend inside of the Patreon so that you guys can benefit from the insight and the research that comes along with what I've been doing and looking at the charts and looking at the money and the budget and all of that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Let's say, for example, I wake up in the morning and I look at my whole thing and it says, Anton, this is what your day looks like. This is what your priority should be. You got this email, you got this, and make sure you pay attention to this, right? And it does it every day. And it gives me a breakdown of what my day is and what the most important things inside of my emails and all of that, right? And so I go through it and I say, oh, interesting. That's pretty impressive, right? Wow, that's crazy. Literally, if you go into your app and it'll give you a daily brief, right? It'll give you a daily brief. And so I can go into my daily brief and it's generating right now, for example, just to give you some insight. And it's saying that it's going to give me notifications when I get ready. So I'll try to show you what that looks like. But it's really mining through all of the different applications that I have tied into it, including emails, including my calendar, because I use Google Calendar, I use Gmail, I use a lot of these different tools. And so it gives me a highlight. Now, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to get rid of my emails. I'm not going to get rid of my calendar. I'm not going to get rid of my assistants because now I can go through and I say, hey, listen, make sure you make this phone call today. Make sure you do this. Make sure you take care of this. Use this platform or use this AI to make it easier or to highlight the most important tasks. So we're using it as an addition to what we've already been doing to make us more mindful or to generate more revenue or to be more focused on certain things. But I can't get rid of my assistants. I can't get rid of that. Right? I may be working on something. I may be working on an application or a new design, and it may give me a suggestion. Right? I'm building a house right now, and so I needed to know certain things, and I've been working with my architect. And so then I said, well, listen, I don't want 9-foot ceilings. I want 10-foot ceilings, and this and that, and so on and so forth. So I can mock that up quicker in AI in order for me to actually see what that looks like. But I'm definitely not going to replace any of my developers, right? You can't place the developers, but you can have it assist you in certain things, right? So it's there to make your life easier. It's there to give you a better view of what things are supposed to look like. It's not there for me to say, all right, well, listen, how many employees can I replace with AI? How many people can I replace with AI? If you are running a company, not even if you own it, but if you're running a company and you're not leveraging AI, you're crazy. But if you're running a company and you're saying, okay, well, how can I use AI in order to reduce costs or to reduce people? Then you fundamentally not doing your job right. Yes, Gemini and Claude. I use Gemini, both Gemini and Claude. You're not using it right, right? You don't use AI to get rid of the thermostat. You use AI to be able to learn when people are and are not in the house more effectively, and what times do the thermostats make this adjustments or not make this adjustment. Here, Anton, here's your day at a glance. And then it gives me a whole layout of what my day is supposed to be. Broadcast schedule. Review the proposal from X person regarding a joint town hall and a dedicated TV channel launch. Bi-weekly call. Modified hours. Navigate this particular renovation. Right? It goes into all of it, literally. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so it breaks down, it literally will break down everything that you're supposed to do today based off of whatever it is that you have it integrated with. Yep, I use it on Gemini. A lot of people didn't even know that that feature was available. They didn't even know that the feature was available. So if you're not leveraging it, if you're not using it effectively, then you're going to fall behind. But if you think that you can use it to replace something that you're already doing, you're crazy. You're crazy. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be job changes or there will be less of a need in certain industries for AI. But there are different companies that are using AI for different reasons. And so people, a lot of times, they'll generalize it and they'll say, well, no, that's because they used AI. We need to know what they use it for, right? We need to better understand exactly what happened. Physical AI is much different than the way that you may use it in your daily life, but it is happening. It's coming. It's coming. It's absolutely coming. So a lot of times people think that it's there to replace you. No, you will actually become more valuable. The people that understand it will become more valuable if they're using it more effectively. Reminds you of the conversation we had the other day? Yeah. So people need to learn it and embrace it. It's going to happen anyway. Now, I don't type as much when I'm trying to find something or I'm looking to do something. I'll literally just talk to the assistant. I'll have them give me some research. Hey, listen, I'm looking to invest in this particular market. What's the average home prices? What is usually this and that? And then I'll just ask questions. I'll have a whole conversation. And instead of me having to type it out, or I may be typing stuff out and looking up stuff at the same time that I'm having a conversation, it's breaking things down for me. What is the average selling price in this particular area? What is the average comp in this area, right? Historically, has it been up and down? What happened during the last pandemic? What happened during 2008 in this particular area? How is this compared to Ann Arbor? And Ann Arbor was largely unaffected by what happened here. And so I'm having this conversation, and at the same time, you're doing research and development so you can make a better decision on how things go. How are consumers doing this? What are people looking for on this front? How can I improve this or whatever, right? And so a lot of times I won't even listen to music while I'm in the studio. I'm focusing on trying to figure out, how to come up with more ideas and better ideas to be more effective as a business person. But if you are not thinking that way, you have to train your mind. You have to train your mind. If you are not training your mind to do things differently, you are going to fall behind. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Tucker Luck says, behind on the stream, but do y'all know there are people that thought we were going to lose rights and be deported if birthright citizenship went away? Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Did they really believe that? The 808 kid says those who are losing jobs to AI are those who refuse to let it assist them at work. And I'm going to also tell y'all this. That is something that you should really be able to speak to in depth. You should be able to speak to it in depth on an interview. Like, you should be able to go into the interview process and be able to speak to how you're leveraging AI and what you're learning about AI. But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm going to break that down in the Interview Like a King new video that I'm putting together for the Patreon. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T. Gently, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. Yeah, I did want to look at what Patrick Bet-David is saying about GTA 6.
Got 450 million views. Record-breaking. 450 million views was their second trailer. I'm not going to play the trailer. If you can just show the viewership where it's at now, go a little bit lower. The combined views they got within 24 hours. It's not just this one, everywhere on all platforms. 450 million views. They just hit 1 billion in how many downloads they've already sold of the video game. Commitments. The game doesn't come out till November of this year. The standard edition is $79. The ultimate edition is $99.99, and most people are buying that video game, okay? They're expected to sell 40 to 45 million of this. This is it.
Wow.
It has become a phenomenon, okay? Pre-order sales, $3 billion in revenue, Vinny. GTA 6 has reportedly surpassed 39 million pre-order sales and $3 billion in revenue. Nobody knows anything about the game yet. They haven't even told you what's going to happen with this. It's already there, okay? The biggest release ever, and the game doesn't come out till November. Insanity when you think about this. Insanity. Wall Street remains bullish. BTIG initiated coverage of Take-Two Interactive with a buy rating of a $290 price target. Analysts, they're talking about this is going to be the biggest hit ever. Raymond James and Andrew Merrick say the pricing is broadly in line with expectations. He believes $80 is reasonable despite exceeding the industry's current $70 standard. If there's one game that can price at $80 without garnering significant player pushback, it's Grand Theft Auto 6. That game, given its massive scale and anticipation, he notes that the Ultimate Edition carries only a 25% premium over the base game. The smallest premium Rockstar has charged for a deluxe edition. Tom, why is this such a big deal?
This is a legendary franchise. This is one of the top 3 selling video games of all time. Number 1, of course, is Tetris in all of its form. That's number 1. Minecraft, I believe, is number 2 and number 3. This is one of the Mount Rushmore franchises of video games. They've sold, you know how many units have been sold, guys? 460 million units. They're closing in on 500 million units with Bill Cross with this release. The last release sold, which was 13 years ago, GTA 5. I remember this. It was $1 billion in 3 days. $1 billion in 3 days. Now, this is $3 billion on pre-sale waiting to go. This has been, and there's two sides to it. Parents hated this. GTA, you're terrassing around town, doing all these things, robbing cars. Yeah, there were things happening with prostitutes. Parents hated it, but it became this insane franchise. And what's really interesting, and by the way, these are the units you're looking at there. You're not even looking at dollars. GTA it's 5 on units. When you get to dollars, it's top 3. When you look at
Mario's number 1 at 950.
Oh yeah,
Shout out to Mario Aguilar. Look at Tetris.
Well, Tetris is more dollars. These are units. These are units. I was talking about dollars, but the point still stands. Look at this thing.
Tom, when's the last time you played Tetris?
Tetris? I still play Tetris from time to time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing you see me playing is backgammon. I'm a backgammon guy. But let me tell you.
I have an old Tetris on a handheld that I still put
the
batteries.
silver one, the gray one?
But it's like bad. You got to put the batteries in real careful. The plastic's old. But I still have it there back
That's
when
sick.
Jamdat acquired Tetris rights, and that's part of why EA bought the Jamdat. But the last point I want to make here is this is a phenomena, but this has been one of the big criticisms of the impact on young men. This game is morally bankrupt, and that's the whole point of it. Grand Theft Auto, morally bankrupt. The big controversy that happened, you're going to remember this now, there was the Liberty City version of it that people didn't like it because
Vice City.
Because it brought Miami down. There was the by the way,
Tehran.
there was also, going back the GTA 5 era, the Ballad of Gay Tony. There were all of these versions that came out with that they unabashedly went out there.
Gay Tony?
Yeah, and here's Liberty City Stories.
Who's Gay Tony?
Our Booker.
No, who's Gay Tony?
No, look it up. Go GTA. Go GTA.
Is it really? There was a Gay Tony character?
Don't be getting on my Tony. Fat Tony. I think it was Fat Tony.
Gay Tony. The Ballad of Gay Tony.
What does that mean, the Ballad of Gay Tony?
That was It was an era where this guy, Gay Tony, was one of the kids. I mean, they didn't.
Gay Tony's taking over the game.
They didn't leave anybody out. Every episode, every version of GTA offended somebody, and usually it was always parents.
Listen,
Bro, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something about this game. It doesn't matter about what I think. It doesn't matter about what you think. It doesn't matter about what people think. Not me, not Patrick Bet-David, not the conversations that we had on After Hours last night. I understand that you're not going to stop anybody from doing anything when it comes to purchasing this game. It is what it is. It is what it is. Nobody is going to not buy the game because of some social thing that people are saying. All right? So the conversation that we having are in jest. It's understanding that people going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Now, when we get past that part and we start to get to the real meat and potatoes, you can look at it from a couple different ways. Some people are saying that streamers are going to make bank. I don't think so. I think that there is going to be certain streamers that generate a lot of revenue that already got motion. There's going to be a few of them, a few newcomers that come in, and they may blow up off of a straight personality or whatever. But if you think that people are just going to fly out the woodwork because they downloaded GTA and they start streaming about their gameplay, that they're going to make bank, I disagree with you whatsoever. That is an excuse for people to justify playing games when they say, well, people make a lot of money as a result of it. People make a lot of money playing games. No, some people, a very small population, make money playing the game. The others of us just get immersed in it and we get lost in it because that's really the metaverse. It's really the metaverse. The more that people boycott it or the more that people say stuff like, oh man, this is affecting young men, the more that you push people and drive people into it. And the money that they generate is minuscule. The buying of the game is nothing compared to how much you start to spend in in-game purchases. That's where the real money is. Game developers are not as focused on what it takes to get the game. As a matter of fact, there are some games that you can even get for free. Fortnite did a really good job, really incredible job, especially at the time that they came through, on saying, hey, you can basically get this game for nothing. You can get into the game. We're not caring about it. But then you got to buy skins, and if you want to look sweet and you don't want the standard, and usually they're able to use other people to peer pressure you into doing it. Because it's like, man, why you got that little bold skin, or why you still looking like that girl? Oh, man, I ain't really trying to spend no money on this game. Oh, man, come on, bro. What you doing? What you doing? So you got to go get some Bitcoins. You got to go get a pack. And you wind up spending way more money. Way more money. So Grand Theft is a legendary franchise, and they built up so I think they almost did it on purpose. I don't believe, look, people keep saying, oh man, it took them 10, 13 years to develop this game. BS. Lies. I don't believe it. Ain't no way you're going to sell me on it. I don't think that that's true. I'm willing to stake $100,000 on the fact that they did not build it, that it did not really take them 13 years to build it. They were making so much money on GTA 5 and they had so much motion on GTA 5 that they didn't have to. They didn't want to rush it. Why cannibalize yourself when you already had people that was still streaming on GTA 5 at a massive rate? Why push out a new product and instead build the anticipation of it? Because the common denominator, the common dialogue was always going to be, oh man, such and such happened before GTA 6. Such and such happened before GTA 6. We got this before GTA 6. It almost became a meme. It almost became a real saying. Meanwhile, people were still obsessed with GTA 5. People were obsessed with GTA 5. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Shout out to y'all. They still killing it. Rockstar didn't run out of money. They didn't run out of money. It wasn't no struggle. They wasn't trying to figure it out and none of that stuff. No, they was bank. They've been killing it on all of the previous GTAs because it's still a immersive game that you love. They would just throw in some new world, not new worlds. They would throw in some new tasks or some new this or some new that. Throw in a couple characters. Throw Superman in that joint. And you put it out there. GTA 5 is killing it. I bet you if you actually had to go and do an evaluation of how much people have spent on in-game purchases, it would be nasty. It would be nasty. It would be Didn't they drop, what did they drop? Red Dead Redemption at the same time? In between that? They dropped Red Dead right there. And Red Dead was sick. But Red Dead ain't GTA. Just not as popular. It's not as popular. They dropped, didn't Rockstar drop Red Dead at the same time? In between? Yeah, bro, they killing it. They killing it. And they gonna make a ton of money. And more importantly, this is probably gonna be one of the final nails in the coffin for GameStop. This will probably be one of the, somebody said I spent $3,000. Isaiah said he spent 3 bands on GTA 5, y'all. That ain't got nothing to do with 2K. That ain't got nothing to do with NFL, Madden, none of that stuff. He said he spent 3 bands on GTA 5, bro. And now, places like GameStop are officially dead. GameStop and them was already dying anyway. That's crazy, bro. Somebody said, I spent a grip, not gonna lie. I don't know if it was 3,000. I used to play, I used to mess around on it a little bit. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Once I had my daughter and she got to about 6, 7 years old, it was about a wrap for that. It was pretty much a wrap for that. Because I couldn't figure out where the money was. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing. It's like, okay, this is cool, but then at the same time, I want some more money. I want some more money, right? So somebody said I spent $50 on GTA 5. Yeah, 3K is crazy. It's crazy. I might have to get it, though. I might have to get it. Anton, why would you have to get it? Because I'm in the field. It's a field of study. No, 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 no. I might have to get it to understand it. You're not a good streamer. You can't speak to something extensively unless you actually can use it or have it. I'll also be honest with you. I think my car purchases inside of GTA 5 was largely a reflection of what my cars look like today. I might have to get it. I might have to get no, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Not because, let me be clear, not because I'm interested in gaming, but because I need to understand what people are thinking and what they're doing and what the current movement is happening in the gaming industry. Yeah, I do. My life is like GTA. Yeah, maybe I can leverage Lex. I do feel like my life is like GTA. I got different places. I stash cars in different places. That is very true, bro. That is very true. I do feel like my life is just like a GTA server. It's crazy. Without getting shot at. Without getting shot at. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Without getting shot at. All right? Let me see what else we got on the docket today. Yeah. Nothing major. Listen, I am a little bit incentivized to end this early because I know that I got to go and pick up a car. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You know what I'm saying? It kind of put a monkey wrench in my plans today because I'm supposed to be doing some other stuff, but now I got to go get this car and I need to beat traffic too. Chad from Morris in the building says, I let AI help me all the time. I leverage it to write my emails, research and compare, processing, and so much more. I'll be feeling guilty sometimes. Don't you feel guilty for being efficient? Maurice says, AD, you are correct. I often at times have to use logical discernment to correct AI contradictions and inadequacies. Tone, what up, Tone? Tone says, have you covered the 12-year-old shot in the head by the 24-year-old after getting jumped, thinking it was a 1v1 in downtown Nashville, all recorded by the group? Cameraman told the 12-year-old to join in. No, send that to me. I ain't seen that. I ain't heard nothing about that. Narada Smith says GTA 6 comes out in November 2. I wonder how it will impact elections, even though the election will happen before the game releases. 392Q says T Grizzly got his own GTA 5 server. You got to pay monthly to stay in it, and you can real life brand cars and work jobs and go on drills. That's crazy. And he made a bag too. Casual Germ says, who remembers Fun Colan? I still have my Blockbuster membership card, gone but never forgotten. What up, baby girl? Crimson in the building says, peace and blessings to you, sir, Lord Anton. What up, baby? What's up, Crimson? Manny Plays PC says, Anton Daniels gaming channel coming soon. I got an extra channel that I'm not even using right now. The Darth Anton channel. I got an extra channel. Dion Harris says GTA 6 gonna have Anton make a gaming channel. I don't know. I don't know if people is interested in that. All right, so let me get the chat's perspective. Should I start a gaming channel, chat? Chat, gaming channel or no? Yes or no? Just give me a yes or no inside of the chat. I got an extra channel with like 40 or 50,000 subscribers on it. No. Yes. Why not? No. Yeah. No. Nah, it's going to slow your movement. No. Yeah. They are. Yeah. Sports not gaming. Sports not gaming. Oh, we could do a sports channel or a gaming channel. What should I change the Darth Anton channel into? Let me see something. Look at it. I got 58,000 subscribers on the Darth Anton channel. $58,102 subscribers on the Darth Anton channel. How is this channel still getting views? That's crazy. All right. So I got a 58,000 channel that I'm not even using, and I don't even know what to do with it. I kind of want to do like a sports car channel. And I also want to kind of give it to my daughter. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused, bro, because I have the Room 9 channel, but I kind of want the Room 9 channel to be all encompassing of a lot of different things. So I wanted to have sports. I wanted to have popular culture. I wanted to have real talk. But then it's like I'm thinking about cars, and I'm also thinking about gaming now. Cars and gaming, sports cars and gaming. You saying sports cars and gaming? That's not a bad idea. Maybe I can get my daughter to run it because she loves cars. I'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Just got a new notification from Lamborghini. All right, we'll figure it out. Listen, I love y'all. Do a sports, music, guns, cars channel on one channel. All right, so we'll keep the other one popular culture, and then we'll figure it out for that one. Listen, Greg says this one gonna have a lot more space for more cars. GTA 6 gonna be crazy, man. Can't wait. Car pickup vlog for the Patreon. Yeah, I got my camera with me. Always got my camera with me. Always got my camera with me, baby. And got the extra battery to go on it. Boo. Sure. Courtney Egger show in the building says, I have an extra channel I might start for GTA. Shadow Dragon TV says, as someone who studies the gaming industry, most sequels are started right after the launch of the initial game. Some depending on its success, just different in-company teams working on it. Yeah, that makes sense. Vito Royale says, car, sports, and music, the other channel. That don't sound like a bad idea, bro. That's not a bad idea, Vito Royale. All right. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. And we got business to take care of. After Hours tonight, hosted by Mimi. We in there. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.